We gotta keep that same energy. What we gotta keep that same energy, man. And look, we're just starting out today, and I decided to get on a little bit earlier, man. I want to cook up some things. I want to get into some things, and I want to really just address some things that needed to be addressed. And it's really a damn shame the way things are happening. It's a damn shame the way boxing is, and it's a damn shame you have people fanboying for promoters, for networks, dudes all on their knees, glazing all of these guys. It don't make any sense, and we're gonna keep that same energy. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm dropping the link. Anybody that want to talk to the landlord for any reason, you can jump on. We got a lot to talk about today. And let's see who wants to get on here with the landlord. A lot of people were on here fanboying and hating the other week, and the link has just been dropped. And one thing that I didn't like is that there was a lot of shit said on the other live that, people just thought was acceptable. I've heard people saying, oh, Devin Haney beat Lomachenko. Anybody with an eyes and a brain knows that Devin Haney lost to Vasyl Lomachenko. The man was outweighed by a weight bully in Devin Haney, and yet Vasyl Lomachenko went in there, cooked his ass, and still got robbed on the cards. That don't make any sense. The fact that guys were talking about Demetrius Andre is a great name on your resume when he's never beat a world champion. These people are fucking idiots. And I'm sorry, if you're a boxing fan and you believe that Demetrius Andre is a great name on your resume and that's your talking point, you're a fucking idiot. I'm sorry. I just got to be honest and unbiased about it. I mean, these are just some basic talking points. Guys get on here and say Floyd was 50-0. The man literally lost to Luis Castillo. Anybody stupid enough to believe that Floyd Mayweather won that first fight, you're a fucking idiot. I'm sorry, but I got to be honest about all this shit. You got too many people out here kissing ass, talking nonsense. I can't debate with a guy that believes any of that. Any of that. I'm sorry, I just can't believe it. I cannot believe it. I mean, guys are just sitting up here saying the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Guys talking about, oh, Canelo fought Munguia and Berlanga. Dumbass, he went undisputed. Dumbass has fought the best resume in boxing. The man fought Bivol, but you got a problem with him fighting Munguia and Berlanga? He's already fought the best. What's wrong with these people? Anything just to hate. Anything to make up a narrative. So Canelo's not afraid of Bivol, but he's afraid of Demetrius Andre. You see, these are narratives start. I'm just sorry. These guys lose me with all these narratives. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's all this is. But what's interesting is we do got somebody. The truth says the IBFP is all up on his feelings, sounds like a female, breathe, relax, count to 10. Well, I'm going to show you who a female is, Truth. I just dropped the link. Click on it, pussy. If you do not click on this link, you're done with my chat. I'm tired of these guys talking all this shit. Oh, I'm willing to type out all this stuff in here. I'm willing to type out all this stuff in here, but I'm afraid to get on with the landlord. If you're too pussy to click the link, don't type it. You don't live like a man. Pull your skirt down. Go ahead and click the link. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I am waiting. Look at the truth. The truth turned out to be a fucking lie. Look at him running like a little bitch. Running like a little bitch. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And shout out to Floyd's daddy. Salute, my brother. Salute for jumping, for supporting the channel. And look, the truth has been nowhere near to be found. This dude got on here talking shit and got embarrassed. Salute to Floyd's daddy. This is what we doing. We just talking boxing. I'm going to let everybody in that wants to get in with the landlord. We can talk to everybody. I'm just willing to talk to everybody. I'm going to start letting everybody in that is clicking on the link, that is willing to talk to the landlord. We can talk about Benavidez. We can talk about Canelo. We can talk about Bivol. And if you don't know about David Benavidez, these guys have been pushing the mandatory. They don't want no step aside. I respect that energy, but I don't respect Team Benavidez saying if there's an offer made, they won't fight in Saudi. That's bitch shit. So I'm keeping energy on both sides of the table. Canelo Alvarez got $100 million just to fight William Skull. Just to fight William Skull. So all you guys talking about he didn't deserve 250 to fight David. You look like a dumbass. He's fighting William Skull for $100 million. You can't make this shit up. Salute to my brother Dwayne. Look, I'm just sorry. We finna get into it. We finna get into it, man. And the truth has disappeared like the pussy he is. Like the pussy he is. The truth, you're done. You're done. But you know what? I'm gonna give you one more. I'm gonna give you one more chance. I'm gonna give you one more chance, Truth. I'm gonna give you one more chance. Click the link now, bitch, or you're done. That's it. That's it. That's it. This your last chance. Round one. What's up, my brother? Round one, are you there? I don't know if round one is here or not. But I'll tell you what we'll do.
Oh, what happened?
What's up, my brother?
Yo,
What's
can you hear me?
good?
Nope. Oh,
Yeah.
what up, man? Who's ducking you, bro? Who's
Uh,
ducking you?
there's some coochie in the chat talking all this crazy shit. The moment I drop the link, he's nowhere near to be found.
Oh man, another DuckTales person right there, bro. Another guy watching DuckTales. That's what he's doing. Watching DuckTales like David Benavidez.
Now, here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. We got a few people right here, man. Dude had no balls to jump on the panel. Dude had no nuts. Talking about he the truth. Talking about he the truth. That's a real bitch for you, man. MW2 vibes. What's good with you, my brother?
What's good, Nuke? Salute, man. Can you guys hear me good?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man.
All
How's
right.
everything going, my brother?
It's going good, man. What about yourself?
Pretty good, man. What do you think about all this shit going on in boxing? Anything you wanted to speak on?
Well, it just seems like there's a lot going on. With the Benavidez situation, I'm not really sure what's going to happen with the Bivol fight. I honestly don't think the fight's going to happen just because, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a fight Bivol wants, but I really don't think Benavidez wants to fight, bro, to be honest.
I can feel you, but I disagree 100% with that. I mean, and I'm not even a Benavidez guy. And this is what I mean. I'm not even a Benavidez guy, but this is what I mean. I think that David will take the fight. Now, at first I thought that, David was looking for a way out to duck, and he's moving kind of funny. I will say that his team is at least, but I think David will take the fight. They pushing a mandatory, and if David's scared, go ahead and call his bluff.
No, 100%. I agree, Nuke. It's just the only thing that's weird, man, is just he's been real quiet about the fight. Like when it came with Canelo, he was talking big, but now with Bivol, I haven't really heard him talk anything about it. Like it's like that energy is not there with Bivol like he was with Canelo.
Oh, I agree. But I will give David this. I will give David this. And look, I like to keep the same energy with everybody. David is in a situation where him and his team are saying they won't step aside. Dimitri Bivol said, "Hey, I'm gonna do whatever Turkey tells me." So if Bivol throws the belt in the trash and don't fight David because Turkey told him not to, that's not David's fault. I can't blame David for that. The fact that David and his team say we ain't gonna step aside, we forcing an issue. Turkey got to make this shit happen. You that guy, right? Now, if they offer him a fight in Saudi and he refuses to go, then we can put that energy on David. But I gotta keep the same energy. I know David team be on some bullshit, but I cannot switch up. I gotta be honest, straight down the middle. The fact that David is not wanting to step aside, is pressing forward and saying, I want Bivol next, and I want my fucking title shot. He's earned it. Give that man his fucking shot. Because you forgot, before David even came into the division, Benavidez and Bivol were not fighting each other for years. For years, these guys weren't fighting each other, and Turk overpaid these guys to make that fight happen. Now, I appreciate Turkey Al-Sheikh for that, but at the same time, these guys weren't going for legacy and greatness before that shit. So we got to keep the same energy. We can't forget all of boxing, and I can understand this man wanting a shot. Give him his fucking shot. Shut him the fuck up. He's so trash. Fight him. Get this shit done. That's all I'm saying, man.
No, I agree, Nuke. And to be honest, bro, it's like I'd rather watch, Benavidez get a shot at the title instead of the trilogy with Better Beef. I think, like, don't get me wrong, I do want to see the trilogy, but I do want to see Benavidez get his chance,
Absolutely. That's all I want to see him get his chance. And that's it. I still pick Bivol to win, but I want him to get his chance.
Yeah,
Salute to
exactly.
Alex Soto. He said Benavidez won't force shit. He already forced it, Alex. They're pushing it right now. That's what I'm saying. I just want to see the fight.
Yeah, I seen that interview with Samson, his promoter. He was saying that they're really trying to force the fight. That if they don't get it, they're hoping Bivol gets stripped.
I agree. I agree. Um,
See, that's horrible.
W says, why are we giving Canelo a pass? Keep that same energy. Give him a pass for what? David Benavidez didn't force the mandatory with Canelo, dumbass. Educate yourself. This is what I mean. Guys will just say anything and don't educate themselves, don't understand anything. If David was willing to go to force purse bids with Canelo, we could have already had that fight. He's willing to force purse bids with Bivol, but never did that with Canelo. So you bringing Canelo into this makes no sense. My brother says Team Benavidez went from saying he's injured to all of a sudden wanting that fight. What a coincidence that it's after a. It's known that Turkey wants the trilogy. David knows what to say to fool people. I agree. Team Benavidez does move weird at points, but the only way to stop a guy like David, if you feel he's full of shit, if you feel he's bluffing, is to call his bluff. The man said he's not stepping aside. You know you got better, BF. You know you got Bivol. You know they're going to do what you want any fucking way. Go ahead and make the fight, satisfy this mandatory, and shut the world up. Shut everybody up. But then don't say you're trying to make the best fights if you don't do it. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Shout out to you, my brother. Thanks for the comment, man. Let me get to the next one real quick. Lalo, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Nuke? Man, I've been rocking with your channel since 2019, brother. Appreciate the support. But I got a question for you, man. So
Yeah.
what do you think about like Oscar selling Turkey the Ring magazine? You think that was like a good move for him, or you think like him doing that was gonna fuck shit up for boxing? Because I seen he's trying to bring in like Dana and stuff,
Oh
and
yeah, I
like
feel you on that, man. Look, I mean, I thought it was weird that he sold the ring, but if he's bringing in Dana and everything, I don't mind competition in boxing. I don't mind if they're all competing and they're all trying to put on good shows. I'm cool with that. What I don't like if these dudes turn around and they say, "Oh, we're trying to make the best fights," but they not really trying to work with each other and make fights and shit like that. Then you're just like Al Heyman. Then you're just like everybody you were hating on. So go ahead, make these fights. You said you didn't want to make the Benavidez fight. No, make that shit. Turkey, you supposed to work for the people. So all I'm saying is we want to see the best fights. They need to make the best fights.
Yeah, that's what I feel like you're going for. Especially Dana, I like watching UFC and shit. Like all these MMA organizations do the best versus best shit. But it's gonna take a while for them to like see what they want or like to make their shit, come to reality. I mean Dana, it did take him like what 20 years to get like the UFC, selling for 4 billion. But I mean, shit, look at Slap. It could be going good. It could be like UFC, taking time, or it could be like fucking that power slap. It's gonna go straight to Fubi and Tivu and shit like that. That's what it's gonna be, bro. We ain't gonna see that on ESPN, but we're gonna see boxing on Tibu if it's like that, bro.
Yeah. Domo says such a historically unserious team. So that's my brother Domo, man. And let me get to Ashy Knuckles, man. What's up, Ashy?
What's up, yo? What's up?
What's up, man? What do you make of all the moves of Team Benavidez coming out saying that, hey, man, we're not stepping aside. We want to force this issue with Bivol, fight us, and we really want that smoke next. I mean, everybody's saying it's a bluff. Benavidez team is pump faking. What do you think of that?
As far as the people saying that, that's just haters. Because why would he even did that? Don't even make sense. Oh, he's pump faking. He could have just if he's pump faking, he just would have took the step aside money. Why you gonna pump fake for a fight when you could just get some free money if you really don't want to fight? So that right there is a body bag on that situation. So that really don't make any sense. But as far as the moves they make, yeah, sometimes his team do move funny, but what they doing right now, I appreciate that because that showed me he want to fight. So if he want that fight, then like you said, the Turk should make it go down.
I mean, look, what do you make about the Turk saying that he don't want to bid on that fight? He don't want to make that fight. He's trying to do something else. Because to me, that's weird. Like he said, he wants to make the best fights, and even the Turk himself contradicted himself earlier. He said before the first Bivol better be a fight that he wanted David Benavidez to fight in the middle of their first two fights, and it never happened. So why is Turkey just being against all of this? Is he on some kind of power trip?
I feel it could be that, or maybe because he want that trilogy so bad to go down, which I don't understand why is to push for a three in a row trilogy, which we ain't never really seen in boxing. But it's either he want him to be unified, still unified, or I mean, or it's just a power trip, like you said.
Yep. And Gabriel, what's up with you, my brother?
Yeah, what's up, Nuke?
Talk to me, my brother. What are you cool with what's going on, or you feel like Team Benavidez moving funny? You feel
Uh,
like Bivol moving funny? What you feeling like, my brother?
I'll tell you this. I think Team Benavidez has a great publicity team. Like everything seems very calculated. First, when it looked like because from what I understand, Saudi sent an offer, and that's when Benavidez' hand injuries came out. Now all of a sudden, when they realized that Bivol's probably going to drop the belt, they backtracked and they're I think they're doing a calculated move, trying to get the belt that way so they can keep the aura of the Mexican monster. Everyone's avoiding him. Everyone's scared. And to avoid that fight with Bivol, because Bivol's going to get stripped from the other organizations too eventually. So it's a way for him to collect the belt. And Bivol eventually, he's going to leave the division more than likely. So he'll be able to collect the belts off other guys instead of ever fighting Bivol Bitterview. You know, like it's a smart move on his team's end, but I don't think he really wants to smoke.
What were you
How
gonna say,
is
Ashley?
He
how
don't
is
want
that
to
a
smoke, bro.
how is that a publicity how is that a publicity stunt? If
Because
he gets hold on,
Hey,
let me
he's
ask you
fighting
the question
Callum
first.
next,
Let me
bro.
ask you the question. How is it a publicity stunt if Bivol give up the belt? If he give up the belt, then he ducking the smoke. That's not Benavidez's fault that he gave up the belt. Fight your mandatory instead of going bending over for turkey, and you'll have your belts. Now he give it up. That's on him being a duck. That don't got nothing to do with David Benavidez. So explain that.
all right, so when they first originally sent an offer, why was Benavidez' team saying there was an injury? At that point, the fight was going to get postponed anyways. It wasn't
What fight was
until it
going to
was
be postponed?
the fight Benavidez' team put out there that Benavidez' hands were injured, and now that it's clear, Bivol's not going to take the fight. His hands magically healed.
What state? I didn't see no statement about his hands being injured. He don't want
Well,
to fight
well,
nobody.
I'll clear this up, fellas. I'll clear this up. So they were in. So Eddie Hearn said they were never in official negotiations, but he did say they did offer him the Callum Smith fight. They said as far as Dimitri Bivol, David Benavidez is dealing with an injury. I didn't know what the injury was at that point, so I don't know if he revealed that it was his hands or not. But he said Benavidez dealt with an injury and he can't fight until I believe it's later in the year, the second half of the year. But they wanted to get together and make a fight happen and negotiate that. So I think that's what he's referencing. That Team
Okay,
Benavidez
and
said
I'm
they had some
explaining
Okay,
that to
injury.
him, and I'm
okay.
explaining that to him easily. Okay, he just fought in what February, right? Okay, so if he would have took 4 months after that, you also gotta think of Dimitri Bivol. He gotta have a time limit of when he want to come back and fight too. So he don't dictate whenever Bivol want to come, since Bivol is undisputed. So 4 months from February is what? You got June. Okay, he got to decide. Bivol got to decide if he want to fight in June. It's all negotiations. So all that, oh, he don't want to fight him. I think is a duck. It's a good play on his team. You don't even make sense, man. What
Wait,
is he
wait.
in the boxing game? What is you in the boxing game for
All right.
to
So
don't
did
want to
you?
be a champion?
So
That
so
don't
did you?
even make no sense.
All right. So did you consider it a duck when Usyk dropped the belt to rematch Fury? It's not like he's gonna go fight a bum. He's gonna rematch Bitterby, who's a better fighter than Benavidez.
I mean, people have their reasons of why they don't want to fight a person. I can't say why Usyk duck, to be honest with you.
Well, I'll break this down. So that's a little bit different because that's a rematch. We're talking about a trilogy, and so we've already seen both of these guys fight. We've already seen that. We've already seen these guys go back to back and get the smoke in. And David has earned his time. And if he wants to drop the belt, so be it. But one thing I will say is this: the best way to call David Benavidez bluff, if he is trying to pump fake, is to go ahead and send him a legitimate offer to make the fight with Dimitri Bivol next. And if David turns it down, that's on him.
Exactly.
Well,
And that's the best way to
Samson already
pump fake
said.
somebody.
Samson already said that
everything is in
Bivol.
Bivol is in the driving seat right now. He controls everything.
He did
Turkey.
before they fought, bro. He went to the plane, got on Disney Plus, and was watching DuckTales while the fucking fight was on, bro. Like, come on.
What
man.
about now? You're talking about him leaving the fight. Right now, he's telling that man, I'm not taking no step aside money. Either fight me or get stripped. So he got into April 8th to make his decision. If he don't make his decision by April 8th, he will be stripped.
Look, what happened last year? Fucking, he extended.
You're talking about last year. Can we talk about 2025? We're not talking about last year. We're not talking about last year. We're talking about 2025.
To cruiserweight because he was talking about that too. So
okay, but is he going to cruiserweight? No, he's trying to get this fight. You're talking about what he said he want to do. If the fight don't fall through, no, he wants Bivol.
Right now, bro.
So hold on. Can I ask you a question? Why are you not answering all these questions about Bivol? Why is it so hard for Bivol to fight him?
Bivol got a trilogy going. Of course.
Tell me what trilogy have you ever seen?
Wait, hold on. I just want to clear this.
Let me just ask him this one question. What trilogy have you ever seen that you seen a 3 back-to-back fight trilogy? Name it.
Like, well, in the fight game or just boxing itself?
In boxing.
In boxing.
In a row is what he's saying.
In a row, like back to back.
No, back to back to back, not just back to back. Back to back to back.
Like the whole trilogy.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
You don't know why you don't know? Because it didn't happen. That's why.
Okay, see. But still,
Oh, but see, yeah, it's a but still though, right? Yeah, it's a but still.
Come on now, bro. Come on now.
Yeah, but
no. The only thing I wanted to interject. Hold on 1 second, fellas. The only thing I wanted to interject is this. Dimitri Bivol has no problem with fighting David. He said he'll fight David. He said he's just going to do whatever Turkey wants him to do. If Turkey say fight David, he'll fight David. So it's not like Bivol prefers the trilogy. It's not. Bivol doesn't put the trilogy on a pedestal. He's not saying I got to fight the trilogy. He said I'd be happy to fight David.
And
if
I
Turkey
agree with
tells
you.
me to do it.
I'm not saying he's ducking him.
Trilogy if Turkey tells me to do it.
I'm not saying he's ducking him, but if he go along with what Turkey said, how you let Turkey just come in and just tell you, all right, yo, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Better do what I tell you to do.
I mean, what if Better Beef want that trilogy? Like,
Better Beef's not in charge. It's Bivol's decision.
No,
Remember, hold on 1 second, Gabriel. 1 second. Remember, Turkey Al-Sheikh told Dimitri Bivol, he said, hey, man, you're going to have to make a decision. Like, you can either side with us or you can go do your own thing. Dimitri Bivol can say, I'm going to fight David or I'm going to fight the trilogy. Bivol really said it doesn't matter which one he fights. Exactly. He said, I'm going to do whatever Turkey says. So he made his choice. If Turkey, so it's all up to Turkey Al-Sheikh on what happens with Bivol. Bivol has no control of his career because he's on his knees for Turkey.
Hey, Nuke, but on that, if David really wants to be undisputed, realistically, he should wait and fight the Caleb Smith fight because more than likely, if Bivol drops the belt, he's probably going to fight Canelo after. So
I mean, but think about this. If you're David, think about this. You didn't get the Canelo fight at 68, and I blame David for that, but I'm sure people blame Canelo. So I'm not going to pick no side on it. I'm just going to say he didn't get the fight at 68. If Canelo goes in and fights Bivol, win, lose, or draw, whoever comes out of that fight, and let's say the trilogy's done, none of these guys have to fight David. David's the mandatory. They drop the belt, and David's asked out. If you're David, you're doing what makes the most sense. You're going to press that issue so you can get the belt. That's what we wanted from David. We wanted David to be fearless. I don't think that Bivol's afraid of David. I think Bivol would beat David. But the problem is, y'all got the money and the time and opportunity. Make that fucking fight. Because now he's pressing your line, and you're saying, well, we just got to do what Turkey says. I know he's not afraid, but you got to do it. Because if this was anybody else, would anybody be keeping this same energy? Everybody would be calling Bivol a duck and a pussy and a coward. But everybody is very protective of Bivol. And it's because we know that he's a great fighter. And we know that he's a guy that would give Benavidez hell. But that alone is just not enough. Big E, are you there? Big E. I guess Big E got some. Big E, talk to me. What do you think about this situation?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I think I got make good valid points, but my only question is like, Well, I feel like that. There's a trilogy now. I think we're not
I'm
putting enough
sorry. Hold on,
content.
Big E, man. I can't understand anything you're saying, my
I
brother.
think Big E's
I'm gonna
underwater,
get you out
bro.
of the studio and I have you come back in because
Sound
I
like Big
can't
E's
understand
underwater, bro.
anything he's saying. I have no
I think
idea.
he's underwater, Nuke.
Yeah,
What's
I
going
don't know
on?
what that was, man. I don't know what that is, man. We're gonna add some more people to the panel too. But Ashley Knuckles is standing on business right here. Does anybody on the panel got anything to say to that? Like
I do.
Benavidez is pressing the issue. He's pressing the line. Does anybody got anything to say to Ashley? The Gooch, what's up, my brother?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, my brother. Good. What do you think about this Benavidez Bivol situation, man? Are you respecting Benavidez? Are you mad at him? Where you at on this?
Okay, so I think it's a move to pressure the WBC to strip Bivol to pick up a vacant title. Now, as far as Bivol, how Ashley put it, that he's kissing Turkey's ass. I'm sorry.
I said that part.
Turkey's going to pay him $10 million. A Benavidez fight, if they were to meet his number, right off the bat, they got to sell 120,000 pay-per-views. That's not going to happen. They're not going to pay him $10 million. They're probably going to offer him 2 or 3. So to me, yeah, if I'm Bivol, I drop the belt, I fight Beterbiev, and then I go after Benavidez. But I think by that time, Benavidez picks up a vacant and moves up to cruiserweight.
And so I have no problem with that. The only thing is, just understand, he avoided David in that situation, right? Because he dropped his belt and he walked away from the fight. This is a fight that Bivol said he'd be happy to take. He said he's just going to do whatever. Hold on. He said he's going to do whatever Turkey says. So he clearly avoided. And it's not that I don't think that David beats him, but I'm just keeping the same energy. Are you not avoiding the fight by throwing it up in the air and walking away when you know it's still a massive fight that people want to see?
I think avoid is a strong word for that. Look, if you ask me, I do the same thing because for many years he didn't make shit. Now he's starting to make money. You don't bite the hand that feeds you. This guy's paying you $10 million a fucking fight. I'm sorry, you do it, and I don't consider that a duck. I mean, that's.
I understand. I respect that, but a duck can't be just about money, because look at it like this. So Dimitri Bivol had already made a massive payday with Canelo. He's already made a massive payday with Beterbiev in the first fight. So he's made plenty of money, and I'm not mad at him making money. But if you're going to say that Turkey's going to dictate your career and not give us the fights we want to see, because it's not up to Bivol, it's up to Turkey, right? Turkey said he don't want to fight. So Bivol is the guy that's in the middle. He's avoiding him because Turkey said to avoid him. So he is on his knees for Turkey, essentially, because whatever Turkey said, if Turkey tells him tomorrow, you're going to fight David, he's going to fight David. That's what Eddie Hearn said. He said, we're going to do whatever Turkey Al-Sheikh tells us to do.
I think there's only 2 people that don't, and that's Tank Davis and David Benavidez. I mean, why wouldn't you, if you really want the fight that bad, let's flip it on David. Why wouldn't you take a fight with Callum Smith knowing that you're next in line for undisputed?
Now, if that's the offer that's made, that's fine, but they didn't make that offer. They're making an offer saying, oh, you can fight Callum Smith and you can step aside. But they never promised them the winner of the trilogy. That's the only problem with that. It's not like saying we guarantee you Beterbiev Bivol, whoever wins that fight, we're guaranteeing it that you're going to get the winner of that. Because the winner of that fight could still vacate the belt and move up or do something else. And you're asked out. You fought Callum Smith for nothing.
Well, we don't know if that offer was made. I think if he's
the only thing that they said that they offered, according to Eddie Hearn, is that they've had talks about a Callum Smith fight. They never said that they offered him the Callum Smith fight. That seems like a logical plan. Maybe Turkey Al-Sheikh says, "Fuck it, I'm gonna pay you this to fight Callum Smith, and then you can guarantee the winner." Maybe he fixes this and the fight happens. We don't know. But as of right now, Turkey holding up the fight. That's at least what it looks like to me.
I agree. I agree that Turkey's holding up the fight. I'm not happy about it, and it doesn't make sense because what's his face? Beterbiev is observing Ramadan. It's going to take him a while. He typically doesn't fight this often, this quickly. So it doesn't make sense to me. But again, if I'm Bivol and I'm going to do what Turkey says, do $10 million. And yeah, he's made He's made 20 million off the first 2 fights, and he got paid for the other ones. But a fighter's career is the blink of an eye. You got to make as much as you can while you can. So I don't blame him.
So let me ask you this, Gooch.
Hold
What
up.
fight
That was
would you
the
like to see
dumbest.
next?
That was the most idiot.
I want to see.
How you gonna agree? Yeah, I agree. I agree that Turkey's holding up the fight, but yet you come on here and say David Benavidez don't really want to fight. That don't make no sense. That's why I talk about these fanboys come on this channel and make a fool of their fucking self. Did you just hear what you came out your mouth when you first got on here and said?
Bro, we
Okay,
didn't
let me answer. All right, I'm not a fucking fanboy. I want to see Bivol better Biev, but to say that Bivol is ducking Benavidez is ignorant. All right, $10 million versus what? Let me finish. $10 million versus what the PBC might be able to afford. I'm sorry, you take that fight and you hope that you can get that Benavidez fight after.
See, your ears must be on another frequency because nobody in here said Bivol is ducking Benavidez. We said if he give up his belt just by listening to Turkey, that is considered a duck. There's no way you could explain yourself around it.
Did you hear what you said? You just said nobody on this panel saying it's a duck, but then you say it is a duck.
Yeah, if he listen, he's saying what you just don't be listening. You're not
listening to you. That's why I'm calling you on it.
Listen, man, listen. We don't believe that he's scared him, but he's if he don't fight him, if he give up the belt, that's because he's listening to Turkey.
Yeah.
So that will be considered a duck. Because you dropped your belt just by listening to this man. Why? For $10 million, you don't make money. You're not broke. It's not like this is your first payday. You got money in the bank.
Okay, hold on.
Off 2 fights.
If you were to piss off Turkey and bypass a $10 million payday for probably a $2 or $3 million payday, you're an idiot. You can call it a duck if you want. You can call it a duck if you want. I think duck is a very strong word. To me, again, what matters is their prize fight. They're fighting for a prize, which is fucking money. The legacy, he's already been undisputed. He can drop the belt, make that 10 million, and then go after him again. You can call it a duck if you want. I don't think it is.
Well, if he drop his belt to do what? That's me. That's how I'm classifying. You your own person, I'm my own person. You have your opinion, I have mine. No matter what, you could justify how you want, and I could justify how I want to make it sound. That's just what it is. But like I said, I feel if I'm the champ, if I'm undisputed, I'm not losing my belt. I'm gonna tell Turkey, let me go ahead and mop the floor with this dude, wipe him up real quick, and then we could just go ahead and you know what I mean? We don't really got to do 3 back to back to back. That's a lot on my body right there fighting that man better be. I don't want to put all that strain on my body back to back to back.
That is so easy to say, but when you're confronted with a $2 or $3 million bag versus a 10, you're gonna take the 10. I would every time.
Do you think he got 10 those first 2 fights he done had with him already?
He got 10 million for each.
So which means he made 20 already, right?
Which means
he made 20, right? He made 20 so far, right? Off those 2, right? And the third will make 30, right?
Yep.
Okay, so if he fight Benavidez, he's going to make about what you say, about 3 million, 5 million, maybe, being that he's undisputed. He made about 5. Little slim 5, which would be $25 million. You done missed out on $5 million just by fighting David Benavidez. They ain't gonna make him or break him. Bivol ain't broke. This ain't his first payday. So if you want to fight for legacy, like Turkey said, if this is about legacy, then fight David Benavidez, because the trilogy ain't going nowhere. That's still gonna make money.
Okay. Well, then what I would do again, I would drop the belt, make that 10 million, and try to get another $10 million payday fighting Benavidez. And if it doesn't happen, oh well, I'm still up.
So I think the argument that we're missing is, this is for people in the chat and everybody on the panel. When people talk about avoided or duck or any of that, we're not talking about Bivol being scared. He's already made it 100% open that he would take the fight, but only if Turkey tells him to. You remember, Bivol wouldn't even fight Artur Beterbiev for years. He refused to fight him until the money came with Turkey. So we got to be honest about who Bivol is. The guy got that taste of that Canelo payday. He became all about money and not legacy. Never wanted to unify until that Beterbiev bag came with Turkey. Now he's saying, I'll fight David, but I need Turkey's blessing for it. So when you talk about avoiding it or not looking for it, it has nothing to do with fear, because there's, believe it or not, if he does not take the fight, it will be somewhat he's avoiding it, because he's only not taking the fight because he's bending the knee to Turkey. And I think Turkey has done a lot of excellent things for boxing. I like Turkey. I like the competition. But at the same time, you got to work with everybody, and you're not going to be happy with every little thing. David has to realize he's still the B-side in all this. So I get it. There needs to be a give and take. But at the same time, the ultimate goal should be we trying to make the fight. Let's make the fight. When I hear Turkey say, I don't want to make the fight, that kind of makes me feel like he on some bullshit.
Yeah, I agree.
That's all I'm saying. Nobody's down in Bivol. The guy's a great fighter. I pick him to beat David. But we got to get Turkey on the right page. You got to make the fight. Big O-Dog, what's up?
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah. Gooch, finish off your point real quick.
But I want to clarify. Bob Arum cock blocked that fight as well on the Benavidez side.
Yep.
You know what? And it was a smart move because shit, they all got paid. Did I want to see that fight way back? Hell yeah. But it was both sides that couldn't come to an agreement. What's his name? Bob Arum kept cock blocking that fight.
I disagree with that 100%. Bivol rejected a lucrative offer to make that fight. He was never about legacy because he was not going to get paid what he got paid for the Canelo fight. I'm sorry. It's just the way I've seen Bivol move. And that's not to say he's not a great fighter, but I've seen it from him. Big O-Dog, what's up, man? Hold on 1 second, Gabriel. Big O-Dog, are you there, my brother?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What do you think about this David and Bivol situation? What do you think about what Ashley Knuckles is saying? Do you want to see this fight next? Do you think it'll happen next? Who's avoiding the fight? Talk to me.
Yeah, no, most definitely. I would love to see that fight more than the better BF one for sure. But let's say that Benavidez goes ahead and manages to get Bivol stripped of his title, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now Benavidez is the world champion, WBC champion at 175. But what's after that, bro? Because I was looking at the rankings and David Morrell, bro, we're gonna watch a Morrell versus David Benavidez too, because that's who's next after Benavidez. You know what I'm saying, for that WBC belt. Now, I was here. I saw this interview where
what could be after that could be better Bev. Better Bev could step up and fight.
Wait. Here's the thing. So to my understanding, if they strip Bivol, the fight that would then be made would be the Callum Smith versus David Benavidez. They would fight for the full title. That would be at least the offer that I heard Eddie Hearn and Team Benavidez said that and Team Benavidez said, we're happy to fight Callum Smith if it's for the full title that Dimitri Bivol vacate. If he decides to throw the belt in the trash, we'll fight Callum Smith for it. That they happy to fight him if it's for the real belt. They basically saying we want to fight a top guy, but they want to fight for titles.
No, I hear that too, and I also saw a Samson Lukowicz, an interview with Samson Lukowicz, where he said that he admitted that they got an offer for. I'm not sure if it was for Callum Smith, but for somebody to be on the undercard for
Callum Smith.
It wasn't Callum Smith.
Yeah. Okay,
so I would say, man, like, what's one more year, bro? Like, David Benavidez has been waiting for so long. I would say, what's one? It's better just Turkey Al-Ashika's got the boxing game in a chokehold right now, man. It's best just to play by the goddamn system, get a big ass check versus Callum Smith, and then you're next up, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? You already been waiting 8-9 years at the super middleweight division, bro. What's one more summer, one more winter? Boom. You know what I'm saying? And then get your fight. Yeah, man.
The only problem with that is Turkey don't want it. So even if he would fight Callum Smith, Turkey already said, I don't want him fighting Bivol. And then what if Bivol and Benavidez move on after the fight and say, we're going to move up? Because they both talked about moving up and moving to other divisions. Now David doesn't ever fight the top guys at 68, and then he doesn't fight the top guys at 75.
So Turkey has some type of personal vendetta with Benavidez?
I don't know what's going on with Turkey. Turkey just said he didn't want to pay for the fight. I don't know why. And maybe it's too difficult. I don't know if he's pump faking. I don't know exactly why Turkey doesn't want to pay for the fight, but he does not want to pay for the fight. And if
I
you don't
thought,
want to pay for the fight, we still need to see the fight. Like, I like Turkey, but if you don't want to pay for the fight, fuck it. Let somebody else pay for the fight and let's see the fight. Give him your blessing. Are we
And
going to
Al
hold up
Haymon
all
pay
this
for the
shit, or are we
fight?
going to get the fights we want to see?
He likes to play God. That's the problem.
what? Yeah. One more thing. One more thing. What I think it is, I don't think it's a vendetta with Benavidez. I think it's he's got a beef with Mauricio Suleiman. Um, like, Mauricio, he knows that they've already got.
Yeah, because didn't he threaten him to strip him or some shit?
No,
When
and he walked that threat back and basically said, "Oh, I'm gonna still work with the sanctioning bodies. I'm still gonna work with promoters."
Oh, okay,
And so he walked all that back last week. So he's already kind of walked that back. And even if he did have an issue with Mauricio Suleiman and the WBC, even if that was the primary cause, you don't need the WBC or Mauricio Suleiman to make a fucking David versus Bivol fight. You can make it on your own. He said last year he was wanting to make that fight. So now all of a sudden you don't want to make it? You don't need Mauricio Suleiman. You're the richest fucking guy in this shit. Give the fans the fights they want to see. That's all I'm saying.
It's looking bad on all fronts. Thanks for having me on, guys. It looks like we're heading to another Cold War situation, and nobody's innocent in this whole thing. But I think the more guilty party.
David versus fucking Callum Smith, like I predicted.
Well, that's very possible. But it looks like I think Turkey's the most guilty party because he's made it clear he doesn't want to bid on the fight, and clearly that's a stab at Al Haymon. Maybe Suleiman, but it's more so it's a message to Al Haymon. Hey, we're not going to do business with you. I mean, he's doing what Al Haymon did for years, wrong side of the street nonsense, and that hurts the sport. And he's made it clear publicly and probably privately to Bivol, you better stay with us, and I'm not going to give Al Haymon any life. So it's either my way or the highway. And Bivol, understandably, will probably go with he'll probably do that because Turkey's given him his biggest paydays. So now, I want to make this perfectly clear. Of course, Lukowicz is to blame as well. Him saying it has to be in the US. I said on your very show, IBP, that it has to. When you're the challenger, you go where the best offer is. But the problem here is neither of them want to work with each other. So it's not just Al Haymon, and it's going to end up in a position where Bivol probably does get stripped, and Turkey will hold a vendetta and never do business with anybody, the PBC.
Maybe.
Or
Yeah, it could happen.
It looks ugly. Put it that way.
I mean, either way,
I don't see why he wouldn't want it in America anyway. You'll get more bang for your buck having it in America than you would over there. Because look at the big crescendo. The big crescendo didn't sell nothing.
I strongly disagree with that because Turkey pays the most. But the problem is that Turkey, like you said, IBFP, Turkey has the most money. But
hold up. So you telling me Vegas wouldn't be packed for that fight?
Hold on. I'll just finish the point. The problem is that Turkey could easily, he could put on any fight. He could put a fight on the moon if he wanted, but he doesn't want to give Al Haymon any life. He's doing what Al Haymon did for years, wrong side of the street nonsense. So it's not a question whether he can put on the fight, because we know he can. The problem is that Al Haymon wants to do the best thing for his business, and Turkey, who came in and said, we're going to save boxing, I'll be the shepherd that boxing hasn't had for years, he's already backing off and saying, nope, it has to be my way, and I'm not going to give any promoter any chance to make money if I don't like them. It's like, well, that's it. This is exactly what you were supposed to solve when you came into.
Then the team shouldn't be forced to fight. I mean, if he's going off some ego shit, you don't want to have it in America because he don't want to work with Al Haymon. That's between them. Don't jerk the fans and don't blame the fighter. If he be like, you know what, I don't want to go.
Carlos Adames is not without Haymon. Carlos Adames is not without Haymon.
Different situation.
But if people be saying that he don't want to work without Haymon.
OD, hold up. Benavidez is a bigger star right now than Adames, and Al Haymon has made it clear he'll let some guys leave, like he let Andy Ruiz, he let Deontay Wilder go fight on Riyadh, he let Adames.
Deontay Wilder wasn't with PBC no more, bro. He left PBC a long time ago.
Let me throw something out at you real quick. WBC is not going to strip Bivol, and I'll tell you why. On a $10 million purse, WBC collects 300,000. If he goes and fights Benavidez for $3 million, he collects 90,000. So I don't believe the WBC is going to strip Bivol. I don't believe that.
Man, Turkey Al-Sheikh right now, bro. Turkey Al-Sheikh got a big fucking ego right now, bro. Like, he got the
What
crown.
what
He
I'm
wants
saying.
you
everybody
know
to
what
kiss the motherfucking ring.
you know what makes me think is going to happen? I think at the end of this, the fight's going to happen, and this could all be just some big game.
I think
But
so. I
that
really
that
believe
wouldn't
that.
surprise me. Let me introduce everybody to a few other people. We got Junior Moreno, we got my brother Ace, and we got my brother from another mother, Clavo, all on the show. So we're adding them to the panel. My brother OD Boxing. Let's go to
What's
Junior,
going down?
and then Clavo, then Ace.
Yo, yo,
Junior,
yo.
Junior, what
The
it do?
overdose.
Yo,
The
what's up, Noob?
overdose.
Thank you for having me in.
Oh, salute.
I'm just trying to say something very, very simple. Like everybody's very. I think everybody's on their feelings about what's supposed to happen in our next fight, but they're overlooking what's supposed to happen in the long run. You know, like Turkey. Turkey's trying to deny Benavidez fight, but people keep forgetting that Turkey just gave is giving basically Canelo 100 million to fight Skull.
That's crazy
You
money.
know, 100
God
million.
damn.
That's
You know,
100
crazy.
so
million.
people forget that probably in that deal, Canelo already agreed with Turkey to give him that Bivol fight. Why is he gonna sacrifice Bivol's O or Bivol's the prize of Bivol by giving the fight to Benavidez?
Wait a minute. I hate to interrupt, but I don't think he's sacrificing shit. I think if we're
No,
being honest, I think Dimitri Bivol would be the clear favorite to beat David. I
no,
mean, I feel
no,
like
exactly,
you would only be
exactly.
I
afraid of
agree.
sacrificing. I
No,
mean, that would make the Canelo fight that much bigger. Oh, Bivol beat Canelo once, then
yes,
he
but
comes in, beats David. Now you get the Canelo Bivol rematch. That'll be 10 times bigger.
yeah, but you're tainting the fight because everybody wants to see. Even though Turkey doesn't want to admit it, everybody wants to see Canelo Benavidez.
That's
You
the fight
know,
everybody do want to see. I agree.
everybody want to see. But if Bivol and Benavidez fight, Bivol is probably gonna beat the fuck out of Benavidez. But it is still a 50-50 fight. But why are you gonna stain it when he already probably made a deal with Canelo, where he already said, you know what, fights go for 100 million, and then the next fight you can fight whoever the fuck you want. And
You need to
probably Canelo
elaborate.
already said, let me get Bivol.
You got to elaborate on the tainting. You gotta give us some extra. Give us an
Yeah,
give us some more than that. Like
yeah.
how is it going to be tainted? Can you explain
Well,
it?
yeah, it's going to be tainted because if Bivol and Benavidez fight, obviously everybody thinks Bivol's going to win. But if that fight becomes close, everybody's going to be like, oh, well, of course Canelo's going to beat that guy. Of course Canelo's going to do that. But the thing is that this whole few years that Turkey already made a deal with Canelo, it's about Canelo's fighting. Because
But
look at
how is Turkey putting his fears on Bivol's shoulders? Because
no,
he's
he's not.
scared
He's
it might
not.
taint the fight. He might
Well,
lose. It's a
well,
possibility he can
the
lose.
thing is that Turkey has all the money. He wants to just put fights on, but the thing is that he's not so much risking. He's wasting time making it a big premiere to show up Benavidez and Bivol because everybody already favors Bivol no matter what. But the thing is that Canelo is the one who wants to fight him first. He doesn't want Benavidez to fight him. It's basically the same thing when you guys remember when Triple
So
G
wait a
wanted to
minute.
fight
Wait
him.
a minute. So I think I got what he's saying. He's saying basically Turkey wants to kind of ice out David altogether.
Yeah, for the
Yes.
meantime, let
Freeze him
Canelo
out.
have all the fights he wants. Let Canelo have what he
Man.
wants.
But
He already paid the
hold
money.
on. See, the only thing I don't like about that though is, man, that's the same thing the PBC has done to people for years. That's the same thing we've seen. Turkey's supposed to be better than that. So
But
if you're gonna be just like these guys, then what the fuck are you doing here? Why are we supporting this if you're doing the same
Man,
shit?
bro.
well, the
I don't.
reason
I
we're
don't.
supporting
WP,
this
that's
is
what I
because
said.
he's the one actually putting the money up to make people actually
Exactly.
fight each other.
Hey, but people,
Hold on, let me go to
isn't
Ace real
PBC
quick.
playing hardball too?
Ace, what do you think about this shit?
Man, I just think, hey, first of all, bro, me and my son's been listening to your channel for hella long, bro, since you started. But yeah, this whole thing about
Thank you, Ace, man. Salute to you and your son, man. I appreciate that.
yeah, for sure, bro. They're big boxing heads. We all are, bro. But yeah, much respect for you having me on. Yeah. So for the whole situation, I just think that is doing what he wants. And I think Bivol washes Benavidez, bro. Bad. I think it's going to be a clear victory. I think it goes 12 rounds and it's going to be UD, but on Bivol. But it's all this shit is all structured around what is Canelo going to do next. That's all these
Exactly.
dudes care
Thank
about
you.
is what he's going to do next. Benavidez, I watched the interview with Jake Paul and Benavidez, and they just started out the interview just hating on Canelo, but everybody's going to do that regardless. Just throw out hate for no reason, bro, because he's the face of boxing, and there ain't shit no one can do about it.
Exactly. Thank you.
That's a good point. That's a good
that's why
point.
they're
All they
paying
want
him
is
so
that
much for
Canelo
one fight.
attention. Ashley, do you agree with that?
What? That everybody want Canelo attention?
Yeah, like they came on to Jake
They
Paul
do,
and all
bro.
they did was
How is that?
Canelo.
If you act, let me just ask. Let me ask that person that just came on here a question. If you want a fight, how is that looking for attention? You wanting a fight is looking for attention.
It's
So
not
you
looking
calling
for
out
attention.
somebody? Hold
It's
up,
just
hold up. So
hoping.
you calling
It's
out
hoping
somebody,
to get
calling them.
more
If
fame
you
off
call
of
out a
his name by
if you
being
call
here.
out,
Motherfuckers looking for attention is Jake Paul. The only motherfucker looking at attention is Jake Paul.
Yo, Joe Nuke, can I jump in for a quick second, real quick, and explain
Yeah.
a
Say what
little
you
bit
got to say,
more?
my brother.
All right. So remember when Canelo had a beef with Triple G and he didn't want the third
Canelo's where the
fight?
money's at, bro. That's all.
You guys remember when he didn't want that fight with Triple G no matter what? He was being angry. The reason he didn't want that fight was not because he could not beat him or none of that bullcrap. It had to do with pride. It had to do with, you know what? I'm the one who's gonna make you rich for this fight. I do not want that fight. When Canelo and De La Hoya made that deal with the Zone, the reason Canelo won that lawsuit and got out of that contract was because De La Hoya tricked him into the third Triple G fight, and that's the reason he got out. People forget that. And then when he was still cool with Eddie Hearn basically talked him into the fight. And you know what? Let's get this money. And after the fight was done, there was no bad blood. But before that fight, he was always saying in interviews in Spanish, for the guys who don't know or Spanish or saw the videos with the translation, the only reason he didn't want to fight him was because this guy was talking so much shit. Why am I gonna make him a millionaire when he's talking so much shit? Nobody would make your enemy a millionaire. Why are you gonna give the bag to somebody who's like been talking all this shit when you already beat him and got a draw in the next fight?
Do you think that that's going to be the issue with Benavidez, Canelo, and the Benavidez Bivol fight? Because Bivol has already said he's happy to take the fight, but Turkey's the one holding all this shit up. I think the boxing world has to put the foot on Turkey's neck. We have to be like, Turkey, you're supposed to be
Couldn't
above
agree
this.
more.
Turkey, you
Couldn't
got to
agree
be the
more.
guy to do what's right. Because if we're going to entrust the sport of boxing to a guy that said he's only trying to make the best fights, he's only trying to do what's right, we expect Turkey. The whole point of Turkey is so guys can't duck anymore. I thought that was the whole point, is that, he's going to pay everybody so much money so we can see the fights we won and can't nobody duck. And now all of a sudden he's saying what fight he will and he won't make. That's where he's losing me at. Because if you're gonna be Al Heyman 2.0, I don't fucking want you.
No, you're right.
Everybody's got a bomb.
That's exactly
on
it.
Social media demands for that fight.
Yeah, like you were saying, Nuke, everybody wants to see that fight. But that's the reason I keep trying to make my point. He's not gonna do shit right now because he just made multi-million-dollar deals with Canelo, and he's giving him a chance to pick the fights that he wants.
Wait. I got to do this one. So let's go back. You remember when Canelo wasn't signed to Turkey and Canelo was still like doing whatever he wanted fight by fight?
Yep.
Turkey Al-Sheikh had an opportunity to pay Canelo $250 to fight David. He probably wouldn't have even had to hit the $250. He could have just got close and still would have paid him. He's paying Canelo $100 million for William Skull. William Skull, he's giving him $100 million for that. And who knows what the true amount he's giving for Terrence Crawford. So if he's given all of this money It's not the money. The issue is not the money.
No,
The
it's
issue
pride.
is he didn't want to do that with David. Hold on, this before he even got a contract. That's the point I'm making. Turkey Al-Sheikh is what's wrong with this scenario. He needs to be saying, I got so much money that I'm going to make the fights happen regardless. Canelo said he'll take the fight. Bivol said he'll take the fight. If we get neither one of those guys versus David, the issue is Turkey Al-Sheikh because he got the money and he's been paying these guys over. And Canelo Williams Skull is not worth $100 million. He's not going to make money on that fight. He's going to lose money on that fight. There's no way he's going to make a profit from paying Canelo $100 million.
But that's what everybody's saying about the Turk. That the Turk is throwing money away, bro.
This
He's
is
hella money into all this fights.
This is a gamble risk fight.
Just to throw it away because he's not turning the profit off of none of these bunk ass fights he's trying to put on. But to be honest with you, Bivol and Davis fight, you got to think about it. They both are not knockout artists, bro. You're going to see a good boxing match, but I got Bivol in it with the boxing skill. David, I got respect for David. Davis, he's a beast, but I don't respect the fact, that he's going like the Jake Paul route, going on interviews and talking shit about Canelo to get the fight and doing all that shit.
Well,
I think the fight's still going to happen, but, that Bivol and David fight, it's just going to be two boxers boxing each other, bro. You're not going to see no real high action in that fight. No one's going to
in fairness, Ace, in the first two fights with Bivol better be, we didn't see no knockdowns or none of that shit.
Yeah, that's
how it was more technique between both of them.
Yeah. But and then go ahead, Fight Sport.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say that everybody knows my position on the fight, but I don't think the fighters are not any of the problems here because of course the fighters will fight each other, at least in my opinion. The problem is now Al Haymon bears maybe some responsibility for this because he's clearly not letting Benavidez go like he did Wilder and like he did Andy Ruiz and Adames, but that's not that again. And I'm a huge. We're all critics of Al Haymon, but his stance is actually. It appears to be because Al Haymon doesn't do interviews. Pretty reasonable. He's saying, "Look, we want to make this fight, but let's talk about it." Turkey Al-Sheikh is the one who's, like you said, IBFP pulling in out what Al Haymon used to do for years, saying it's either my way or no other way, and it's like, well, that's a huge problem. And when Samson Lukowicz is saying the fight has to be in the US, that's a silly thing to say. I mean, you go where the money is. But
I agree.
But Turkey is saying, he's the one saying publicly, which is absolutely insanity, well, I'm not going to put the fight on regardless. Well, then you're the one who's screwing this over. And I don't know if the media is going to jump on this, but...
Hold on, fellas. I didn't get Clavo's take. Clavo, welcome back, my brother.
Yo, man, what's going on? I mean, I think my signal kind of going. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah. We good.
Yeah, fine, man.
All right. Well, yeah, man. There's bro. There's so much going on right now with Turkey and with beefing with the sanction abiders, with his TKO and David fighting Bivol or not, being fake news, bro. There's just so much fucking going on. But I do agree that right now, man, Turkey's looking like a new Al Haymon 2.0. I do actually see that. But the thing is, bro, is that we don't know if Ivor's finna come into the play. We don't know if David's gonna get his shot. At this point, I mean, we're all basically in the blind spot of the whole shit, bro. I mean, all we can do is basically sit back and let the shit unfold however it unfolds. Because of right now, I mean, to me, I'm gonna tell you like this. I don't think David ever wanted to fight Bivol or Better Beef. I'm gonna tell you like that. I'm gonna tell you like that right now, bro. And if y'all want to act blind to the shit, because here's another thing, bro. I mean, if anything, it almost seems like Turkey is punishing David. Hey, you know what? You actually flew over here 15 hours and you wasted my time and you took off. I was gonna offer you a fucking deal and you just fucking flew back. So I don't want to work with. So I don't want to work with you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that could be a possibility.
Hold on, one second. I want to get Ashley Knuckles' response to that first. I know he's about to blow a gasket.
If he want to call his bluff, tell him to make the fight. That's the only way. That's going to prove all this.
Why do you think you flew him out there?
Hold up, Clavo. If David Benavidez don't want to fight him like you said, only thing Turkey got to do is go ahead and give fucking Bivol the green light.
Okay, so you think that Turkey just flew him out there just so he could sit there and look pretty or what?
Do we know what? Do we know the reason why he
Here
left?
we go. Do we know?
Look,
Do
bro,
we know
hold
the
on.
reason why he left? I'm asking. Do we know the reason why he left? Did Turkey come out and say why he left? Did any
Bro, David
reports
didn't
come
even
out
come
why
out
he
and
left?
say why he left. Hold on, bro. Let me let
He
you
went
know
to
of the
go
common
to the
sense
bathroom to
that
do
you're
a line. He
skipping.
went
Hold on.
into the bathroom to do a bump.
Let me let you know, bro. The common sense that you're leaving out is this. Here you go. Here you go. Right here. Look, you're in a you got a hot seat to watch either your two of your next potential opponents. So instead of you sitting there and studying your next potential opponents, look for weaknesses, look for deficiencies, look for something that you can expose these guys. Instead of sitting there and studying your fucking opponents that you are possibly gonna fight next, you fucking instead of being David Benavidez, you went David Copperfield and you fucking disappeared.
Okay, and I got an answer for that, Kloppo. I got an answer for that. So
I
if
can't wait for
Bivol,
that.
hold up, if Bivol wanted to really fight, he could say, you know what, Turkey, I'm just gonna go ahead and fuck with Matchroom and PBC and let them make the fight. I want to fight. So since he gonna follow, since he gonna bend over and take the turkey meat, that's on him. Why you ain't getting on Bivol ass? Because
Klavo,
Bivol is the one who can say, you know what, I'm not gonna listen to you, Turkey. I'm just gonna go ahead and fuck
Oh,
with Eddie Hearns
yeah,
and go
leave all
ahead
the
and go with
money on the
PBC
table.
and go
oh,
ahead
wait
and
a
fight.
minute.
That's a
So
fair.
wait a
Hold on,
minute.
hold on, hold
So
on. That's a fair question. We got to have some energy for Turkey Al-Sheikh, though, right?
It's Al-Sheikh.
Yeah, Klavo, I disagree with you. I'm not sure if you heard my take earlier. I think this is down to Turkey not wanting to work, not wanting to give Al Heyman any life whatsoever. Because I've said this on multiple shows. If Benavidez leaves Al Heyman because he's a big headliner for PBC, the PBC is pretty much done. You can count down how many days the PBC will have left if he leaves. So Al Heyman doesn't want to give him up, and Turkey has made it publicly clear he doesn't want to negotiate for the fight anyway. He's not going to put the fight on. So Turkey's the biggest problem here, not the fighters.
wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute.
You
Wait a
gotta
minute.
understand,
Hold on.
Turkey's
Hold on.
like a rich ass boxing fan, bro. He's
Nah,
sitting
wait a minute.
there,
Hold on.
he's in
Let
the
me
driver's
say
seat,
something to
don't know
that.
what the fuck he's doing, just throwing
Yeah,
money ass
Klavo, go ahead.
problems.
Hold on. Let me
That
say something to that.
Klavo,
So
go ahead.
so wait a minute. So I could have sworn I just seen his other stablemates, Adames, Pitbull, even fucking Rayo. They went to Saudi, no problem. Why can't this motherfucker go?
Yep.
You said, did he
Because
say he wasn't going?
Hold on. He asked me the question. I think Al Heyman doesn't want him to go.
There you go. There you go.
So
So
Al
basically,
Heyman-
now you're saying that it's Al Heyman and David, not just Turkey, bro.
No, Klavo. I said
That's an
earlier, no one's
excuse.
Yo, I gotta
innocent
go. I'll
in
talk
this
to you guys
situation.
later.
But the biggest problem later. But so none of them are innocent players in the situation. But the biggest problem right now is Turkey.
Hold on, real quick. Yeah. Turkey is the problem. I agree 100%. But what I feel is David's taking advantage of that situation, and he's blaming. He's using Al Heyman as an excuse, and he's barking up right now, trying to pick up a vacant belt. And let me ask you another question: why the hell is Canelo's name still in David's mouth? Why isn't he talking shit about, hey, Bivol needs to fight me?
Exactly.
So let me ask you a question. Hold up.
I'm gonna kick it to Ashley real quick.
Can the Benavidez fan answer that question? So let me ask you a question. You go if somebody offer you to come on, if somebody pay you to come on their show for an interview, and they ask you to, because it's not like Benavidez just be talking, he just bring his name out of the fucking blue. If they ask you a question, what Benavidez is supposed to say? You know what? No comment. I don't want to talk about that. Or is he going? Or are you going to give your opinion? Hold up, man. Are you going to give your opinion? Say what?
Just like Canelo does that with Crawford. When they mention Crawford, he says no.
Okay,
he
and don't
says no
nobody give
comment.
Canelo. Listen, man,
He
when
says no
somebody asks
comment.
you a question, when they pay you to come on their show and give you an interview, if they ask you a question, they expect to get an answer. They don't expect you to sit there and say, you know what,
But he
I
don't
don't want
gotta
to talk
answer.
about
That's
Canelo.
up to him. They're paying him. He got the money. He don't gotta do shit. He just gotta do the
Hold up,
interview.
so basically you telling me if Logan, Paul would have asked you to come to his show, and he would have asked you that question. If you was a fighter,
If
would
he
you
would have
going to
gave me the
answer it?
money, I would have did what the
Is
fuck
you
I
going to answer the
want.
question, man? I asked you a
Hold
question.
on, fellas. One second. I just want to say this. This is the first time in history. I think I'm agreeing with Ashley Knuckles. No matter who you are as a boxer, if you're going to be offered on the Jake Paul show, this guy is doing incredible numbers. We all can say that. Even though I feel how I feel about it, he's doing crazy numbers. If you're invited on his show, that's a lot of fucking publicity. That's a lot of publicity, and that's going to be hard to turn down. I don't know. Another thing is, Antonio Garcia says, why would Al Heyman not want to let Benavidez go? He's not even a star.
I can give my thoughts on that. Again, I'm
Benavidez
not
is
part
a
of Al
star.
Heyman.
He's a star.
Well,
He's just not a superstar.
yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
that's
He's not a
good.
super.
That's
He's
good.
not a
What?
superstar, but he is a
No,
headliner for them.
No.
no, no.
I feel
Yeah,
like, I mean, but
Clavo.
but this could be a
He's
tuna.
a
Hold on,
PBC
one second.
superstar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
hold
a
on one second.
Clavo.
PBC star. I'll
This
give you
could be
that.
a
He's a
tune-up for
PBC
Bivol.
star.
I mean, look, I don't want this to come out disrespectful, but this could be like a tune-up for Bivol where he could go in there, 12-0 this guy. He don't have the knockout power. I know some people believe Benavidez would thrash him. I don't. And if I'm looking at it like that, I'm like, let's call his bluff, get this easy-ass fight out the way, and we can move on, and you can get all the clout surrounding the fight and pump up your next few fights. That's the way I was looking at it.
Yeah,
And
right.
also because the Benavidez Bivol fight could be very huge. I mean, yeah, I'm not saying it's Canelo Crawford level, because it would be big. Al Heyman, like any promoter, looks at that as an investment, saying, okay, I may not make tons of millions on this fight alone, but I will grow the size of my business big time. So that's why he sees this as very promising. And Clavo, again, I think Al Heyman is okay to let fighters go if he's not going to make tons of money off of them. He sees
Depends which fighter.
Have you not seen the history of before, bro? All these fighters using A-side politics for the longest. Look how long it took to fucking make Spence and Crawford.
Hold on, that's what I'm saying.
And look what happened. Look what happened with Wilder and Joshua. Look what happened with Wilder and Joshua.
Clavo, what I'm saying is that's exactly what Turki Al-Sheikh is doing. He's saying, I'm not going to bet on the fight. Like, here's the thing. Turki is saying publicly, I will not bet on this fight in a purse bid situation. It's very fair for Benavidez and his team to say, well, we want the fight in the US, so we're going to go for purse bids. And Turkey's the one shutting down the purse bid scenario. So Turkey is doing exactly what Al Heyman has done. A-side politics, my side of the street. That's the problem. It's not the fighters, it's Turkey.
And I'll admit one thing. So the way I'm looking at it is, I'm looking at it like, okay, at first I thought Benavidez would never press his line. Now he's pressing his line. We don't want to step aside. We want to go straight at him. I get all that. And I respect that from David. But do I think that David and his team see an opportunity for a fight for a vacant belt? Absolutely. The only way you can stop that is to call his bluff. I think we all know, at least regular boxing fans feel that Bivol should easily win this fight. I know Turkey is the one that's saying, I won't even bid on the fight. I don't want to deal with these people. No, fuck that. And I just need them to at least make David a fair offer, whether they want it in Saudi or the United States. Let David reject it, and then you can just say, okay, fuck it. We tried to make the fight, they didn't want it. But they're not even calling his bluff, and that goes back to Turkey. He's the guy with the fight in his hands. You got to make the fight.
Can I tell you why it won't go to purse bid?
No, can I say something, bro?
Oh, and one last thing. He never, and for the record, I do agree that David never really wanted to fight Beterbiev back in the day. And David also never pressed Canelo's line like this. That's why he never wanted that fight to go to purse bid. So Clavo was 100% spot on when he was on all those things.
He's not pressing this one either. When do you ever see him on the interview talk about, oh, I'm gonna beat the shit out of Bivol, or I'm gonna beat the shit out of Beterbiev? I don't ever hear him say none of that.
What I mean is, President, is that they're saying, oh, we're not going to take a step aside in it, because I think they feel that Bivol ain't going to take the fight. If Turkey say no, it's a no. I think you gotta pull his card. Take the fight and pull his card.
But I'm just saying, bro, about sabotaging with A-side politics and talk about who am I to get in between the fucking trilogy. I mean, that doesn't sound like somebody who really wants it. I mean, ask yourself that.
Like his people said, they tired of fighting for interim belts. They want the WBC belt. So he got the August 8th. We could sit here and argue and go back and forth about what David don't want and David ducking this and David doing this, but it's all up to Bivol. He got to April 8th to make a decision.
No, Benavidez too, bro. Not only Bivol, Benavidez too.
No, April 8th. He got to make a decision if either he going to defend that WBC title or he going to go ahead and give it the fuck up. And I'm pretty sure he got the same amount of time when it comes to that IBF belt to fight Michael Eifert. So he got decisions to make. It ain't just Benavidez he got to worry about making decisions on. He got other fighters to worry about too.
You're repeating yourself. Two things real quick.
Yep.
it's not going to go to purse bid because let's say the PBC wins it, they're not going to pay Bivol 75% of the pot. All right, that's not in their best interest. Too, again, WBC is not going to strip Bivol, and David's team is just trying to find a way to get a vacant belt. I hope Turkey calls their bluff.
So why did the WBC strip Canelo then? Canelo didn't fight.
Hold on. I hope that Turkey is setting a trap. Now that David spoke up, I hope they offer him the fight.
So why did the WBC?
That's what I want.
Why did the WBC strip Canelo when he didn't want to fight William?
But why
that wasn't the WBC, bro. That was the IBF.
During the interview, bro, say we told him since March. We told him since March to do the purse bid, bro.
Hold on, panel.
You got the sanctioning body wrong.
I got Clavo right here. Clavo had a response to that real quick. I got to let Clavo get that one off.
Ask you, bro. You tripping? That wasn't the WBC. It's the IBF. Get your sanctioning bodies correct, bro. It was a strip with the IBF. This is the second time he's been stripped by that belt. And also, bro, are we not gonna ask? Look, fucking Bivol hasn't even had that belt barely like what, a month? Fucking Jamal Charlo had the WBC almost 3 fucking years and then get stripped.
And not fighting.
But they're pushing this man.
We all know
Barrios.
Yeah,
Mario
we
Barrios
all know
hasn't
the
been
sanctioning
stripped
bodies are
this
terrible,
year.
but
So, when it comes to Bivol, he's got to fucking make a choice.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You see how that shit's unfair, bro?
And Gary Russell too. Remember Gary Russell had that title for a while too.
And that's the bullshit between Turkey and fucking and what's the name? That don't got nothing to do with David Benavidez.
That's the thing. I'm talking about the sanctioning bodies, bro. Listen,
that's what I'm talking about. All that bullshit that the fighters is getting put into is because of those two motherfuckers right there can't get along. They can't work shit the fuck out.
This is what
like Luke said, it's not that Bivol scared. It's just that he gonna do what the fuck Turkey said. And that just
the thing is Bivol is fucked either way. Either he's gonna be stripped of the WBC or the IBF. One of the I mean probably even both.
See, but I got a third option here. Hold on, there's a third option here. Turkey Al-Rashid could call up Benavidez team, say, hey, let's make the fight or do it. You can just make. I'm sure they can make some kind of deal. Turkey got the money where he can make a deal and make everybody happy and guarantee some fights. He's the only guy in boxing that can do that. No one else can do that. And the fact that Turkey starts with the language that I don't want to bid on this, I don't give a fuck about this, then you just threw that in the trash. So it's not going to happen if you don't put the money up and do it right.
No, wait a minute.
Turkey, I promise you guys we're going to look back at this in a year or two, and you're going to be like, damn, Turkey didn't turn into some Al Heyman shit because he's going to start picking and choosing if he don't make this fight. It's going to set a standard. He's going to start moving like this.
This is why, again, it's down to Turkey because, again, you guys, and it was a fair point, you guys mentioned after Benavidez beat David Morrell, you said, well, why is Benavidez saying he won't get in the way of the trilogy? Where's that fire? Where's that attitude that he wants to fight the best guys? Now he's saying he will get in the way of the trilogy. So clearly, I mean, that was just talk, in my opinion, from Benavidez earlier after Morrell saying he won't get in the way of the trilogy. The problem here is Turkey saying, I will not bid on the fight. That's why he's at fault.
And David's taking advantage of that.
Yo,
Luke, the Bivol, Eddie Hearn's Bivol's advisor or something?
Eddie Hearn is his promoter.
Oh, he already signed with them? I thought he was just an advisor, like a co-promotion.
I mean, it could be his manager too. He's aligned with Eddie Hearn to conduct business on his behalf.
So when you said,
but the problem is, bro,
Benavidez
is that
taking advantage of that, what he's supposed to be like, you know what? Let me just step aside and let them fight. That's what you're saying?
No, he's
supposed to automatically step aside and let them get 3 fights.
Purse pick that bitch, bro.
He should have talked that shit. He shouldn't have said, "Oh well."
It don't matter what he says. Being that he want to fight, you should be like, "Oh, listen, man." Being that he's trying to block the fight, you should give him his props for that instead of him saying, "I'm gonna take the step aside money," because he could have took the step aside money.
You can't have it both ways.
They said Turkey offered him a adequate price to step aside, and he turned it down.
No. Hold on. What we're talking about is how at first he's saying, well, who am I to get in the middle? And then the mandatory comes down. Now he's talking that shit, trying to. As soon as he beat Morrell, he should have said, "I want the winner," and he didn't do that. He's being a bitch. I'm sorry. He should.
Okay, hold on, Gooch. But just like Luke said earlier, man, Bivol could win the fight against Better Be. and he could move because he was talking about going to cruiserweight. He don't have to fight Benavidez. As long as Turkey don't give him the fight. If Turkey tell him I'm not paying for that fight, if Turkey doesn't say he's not paying for the fight, what difference is he's not going to pay for even after he fight?
We're talking about David. Why didn't David, after the Morale win, say, "I want the winner"? He said, "Who?"
This is completely irrelevant.
Hold on.
Exactly. You're talking. You're talking in circles, bro.
No, I am not. You're talking in circles. You're avoiding what we're talking about.
This is irrelevant.
Hold on.
Go ahead, but this is irrelevant.
Hold on. Would you shut up? Jeez. What Glavo said is he didn't keep the same energy after the fight, and then wants the mandatory. Now all of a sudden he wants them. That shows that's a bitch move.
So I'm asking you. So it's a bitch move. So he's supposed to. So right now he don't supposed to speak up and be like, you know what, fuck it, I changed my mind. I want to fight. So he's just supposed to let them have.
Done it from the get-go, because to me,
all right. So the point I'm asking you a question. You're jumping past the question. What I'm saying is, being that he is mandatory to fight him, he should just say, you know what, fuck it, just let them go ahead and fight the three, because I said earlier that, you know, in my statement that I wasn't going to step in the middle. That's what you're saying? That's a pussy move.
No. Good. I'm not saying that.
What?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that. Yeah,
that's
he should be barked. Hold on, let me finish. What I'm saying is, yes, he should be barking, you know, demanding that fight, but he should have done it right after the Morale fight.
What's the difference?
That tells me that he didn't want the fight. He's trying to pick up a vacant title.
No, Gooch, what you're doing, look, I see what you're saying, but it seems like you're defending Turki Al-Sheikh being, again, Al Heyman. All right, this is why.
No,
Gooch,
it sounds like y'all defending David Benavidez, even though he's giving off energy that he don't want those fights.
Hold on, Gooch, this is why, because yes, okay, Benavidez, I wish he had been more belligerent and aggressive after he beat Morale, but he wasn't. Okay. Now he's saying, I will get in the way of the trilogy, which is great news. And again, the one who's getting in the way of this, who's saying, I will not bid on this fight, is Turki Al-Sheikh. So let's say that Al Heyman did get in Benavidez's ear, which he probably did, and blah, blah, blah. We all know that. We're all critics of Al Heyman. We all know he does that. But the fact is that the fight could go to purse bids. It could be bid on by multiple parties. If Al Heyman could pull a rabbit out of the hat and save his business again, I mean, he's done it before, then he could potentially put the fight on. And the person who's getting in the way of that is Turki Al-Sheikh. So I'm not defending Benavidez completely. I'm just saying the one who's at fault here is Turki Al-Sheikh.
I agree.
So,
I agree. Turkey is the problem. I'm not debating that. What I'm talking about is what Glavo said is absolutely true. All right? Yeah, you know what? Turkey's trying to play God, and I don't like it, and I saw it coming. You know, he's the kid with the ball, and if you don't like what's going on, he'll leave with the ball. I don't like that, and I'm not defending that. It's more, you know, what we were talking about very specifically is David was passive until the mandatory was made, and Turkey said, I ain't fucking paying for that.
So I want to interrupt everybody for 1 second. So I just want to break it down, because this is the disconnect. Is basically that David Benavidez's whole energy was off until Turkey said he didn't want to fight.
Yeah.
Is what they're saying. Yeah. Now Turkey's pressing the issue, and David was like, well, I don't want to. Well, David's team saying they don't want to go to Saudi Arabia to fight Bivol. And David himself said recently, before they even fought the trilogy, that, hey, I'm willing to sit back and wait for a trilogy to play out. Now, all of a sudden, they're pressing the line, going forward, saying, no, we can't wait. Let's make this fight now. And what I'm saying is, I think David's bluffing, personally. And if you're going, if he's bluffing, call his bluff. But the fact that Turkey's not trying to do that is what's throwing it off to me.
Thank you. That's what it all boils down to. All this could be put aside if Turkey just go ahead and swallow his fucking pride and put the fight on. So
we're just gonna. I mean, look,
we can sit here and think all we want. It's up to Turkey to call his bluff.
Turkey's got fault. Okay, yeah, Turkey's got some fault. I'm not denying that at all. But are we gonna act like David Benavidez didn't have two fucking balls in his court with WBA and WBC interimship? Yeah. Why the fuck don't you just get him stripped? By either sanction and body. If he's not gonna fight, hey, at least take the belts away. Fuck it. You're already the king of getting vacant belts. Go ahead and get you those two. Fuck it. Call their bluff. They're ducking. Turkey don't want to make the fight. Go to the sanctioning bodies. Get that motherfucker stripped. He ain't trying to. I don't see him doing that either. So we gonna sit there and wait. You don't want to get in the way. You don't want to get in the way of the trilogy or nothing, bro. It's from the
He
beginning.
not waiting on
You
nothing.
ain't never
He got
wanted
the
these
April
fights.
8th, man. April 8th is right around the corner. So it's
What
up
does
to
that
your boy.
mean?
That's what it
Bro,
means.
you're the same person that's over here talking about who does trilogies back to back to back. What the fuck is it, bro? You saying shit that don't even matter, bro. Seriously.
It do matter. It does matter because you haven't seen one. And why is that? Because that shit
Who
where
gives
on
a
the
fuck? That's the good thing. That's the good thing that we're seeing these fights back to back to back instead of having no interim fights in between. Don't you think that's a good
Let me ask
thing?
you a question.
Flavo, again, I disagree with you.
Why the fuck Katie Taylor and what's the name didn't go back to back to back? And those was all good fights.
It doesn't always play out. But hey, luckily this one played out that way.
Why Triple G and Canelo didn't go back to back to back to back? Why that didn't happen back to back to back?
Why does it have to happen back to back to back?
Exactly. So exactly. Why do the fucking better be even?
You're the one that has the issue with the fight being back to back to back.
Oh, I've seen a trilogy back to
A lot of people want to see the Benavidez and fucking what's the name fight over the Bivol and be the back to back to back. That's why.
What up, Steel Mills?
Hold on, fellas.
What's
Hold on,
good,
fellas.
Brody?
I got Steel Mills in the building. Now, for all of you that don't know, Steel Mills is my brother from another mother. And this is going to be something epic. Me and Steel are working on something special here. We're working on bringing a special podcast to the IBFP between Nuke, Steel Mills, and some big booty bitches. We're going to make it incredible. So it's going to be everything you ever dreamed of. So you guys stay tuned for that. Me and Steel going to lock in, and we're going to make that shit happen. It's going to be epic. I promise you it's going to be epic. But just to the point, I know Steel got a lot to say on this one, so without further ado, the one only Steel Mills, my brother.
Oh my fucking God. Yo, peace to the panel. What's happening, y'all? What's happening?
Steel Mills.
It's the business, man.
Happening,
Man,
homie.
listen. It was good, my guy. Man, listen, man. I don't know. It could just be me, man. But it kind of seems like Homeboy is angling a little bit, man. At one point, dude was all, yo, I ain't got no problem being on the undercard. Who am I standing between a trilogy and this and that and the third and yada, yada, yada. Now you trying to push the issue on, dog, man, I want my title shot is Bivol. It's for, if I fight Callum Smith, it'd be for a belt or it'd be for nothing. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny. When he don't push the issue, it's an issue. When he pushed the issue,
actually let him finish.
But the thing is this. But the thing is this. Who's to say he's pushing for that fight?
When he don't push the issue, when y'all want him to push the issue,
who's to say that he's pushing? Who's to say that he's pushing for that fight with Bivol? Who's to say that he's pushing for that fight with Bivol, though, fam? That's my point. Who's to say that because at this point in time, Turkey is obviously locked in on the trilogy.
Did the man say he turned down step aside money to want to fight? Yes or no?
He did say that. He did say that. But I'm not.
So if you didn't really want the smoke, wouldn't you take that free $5 million?
Listen. I'm not completely disagreeing with you, my guy. I'm not completely disagreeing with you. But you could take that. I ain't taking that step aside money on some shit like, yo, I need that belt because I know that I'm more than likely not gonna get that fight with you because you locked in on this trilogy. So I'm gunning for the belt now, and that can happen with or without you.
Still, I disagree with you. I disagree with you, man. Because they're all guilty in this scenario. Everybody's guilty. Samson Lukowicz, Turkey, Al Heyman, etc., etc. They're all guilty. But the guy who has said point blank, "I will not bid on this fight," is Turkey Al-Sheikh. And again, it seems unlikely. Turkey Al-Sheikh is probably going to win the purse bid, but we can't write off Al Heyman. Al Heyman could come up with another investor. He's done it before. He saved his business from.
He ain't coming up with another investor, man.
Well, okay, here's the thing. Steel Mills. Steel Mills. Again. All right, you guys can laugh, but here's the thing. If Al Heyman is no threat as far as bidding on this fight publicly, why is Turkey Al-Sheikh saying I will not bid on this fight? Because Turkey Al-Sheikh is the problem, not Benavidez, not Bivol. Maybe Eddie Hearn is at fault, and I've got plenty of issues with Eddie Hearn. But the biggest problem here is Turkey Al-Sheikh. Benavidez is saying I want the fight, I will not step aside, and Turkey Al-Sheikh is the one blocking it.
Nobody's arguing.
I don't think. Hold on, fellas. I just want to say this. Rafael Reyes says all of a sudden Turks gets gets in their way and Benavidez grows some ball.
Exactly.
You remember when
Exactly.
Turkey Al-Sheikh said, hey, I don't want to bid on the fight. Now Benavidez said, fuck that shit. We don't want to step aside. We want to take the fight. That's why I said, to me, it looks like a pump fake from Team Benavidez.
Because that's
David
saying
had
either
already said
fight
he
me.
was cool
That's
with
either
Dylan
saying
and
fight
everything.
me.
Hold on, Ashley. Hold on. I'm going to let you go. It looks like a pump fake, but the only way to tell if it's truly a pump fake is to call his bluff. And the only guy with the bread to do it is Turkey. So Turkey gonna have to figure out a way to be like, hey, I'm gonna promise you this. I'm gonna catch you at the end of the year, and we're gonna let this trilogy happen first. And we give David a bunch of fucking money to sit back and chill. But David is pushing the issue because he feels like Turkey gonna be like, nah, that shit ain't happening next anyway. They're gonna drop the belt, and David said, I'm the monster. And there we go. But the only way to stop a pump fake is to call somebody's bluff. That's me. That's the way I'm seeing it. I could be wrong, fellas. I could be
But do you
wrong.
know? Do you know? Do you know?
disagree with that.
No. Do you know when them balls should have been there when you fucking took that 15-hour flight? Them
Woo!
balls should have been right there.
Facts.
Because hold on, and let me say this too, bro. Because David Benavidez is the only one saying, "Oh, Al Heyman, PBC." I didn't hear Pitbull say that. I didn't hear that shit with Rayo. I didn't hear that shit with Adames. Oh, Al Heyman, this and this and that. Why is it only David that we're hearing that shit from?
Bro, did you see that? Did you listen to the
Because we don't know
with
what, because they was there for negotiation, right?
Samson Luca with
No, they weren't.
Sean Zeitel?
Am I right?
Did you watch that interview with them too?
Did I watch what interview?
The interview with Samson Luca with Sean Zeitel.
I'm asking anybody on the panel, just ask the question. When David Benavidez went to that fight, was it just to watch the fight, or was it for negotiations too?
It was supposed to be.
Man, it was all
dude,
of
if
the
Turkey's gonna
above,
send you
dog.
up there,
For him to scout who he fighting next, and for him to negotiate with the Turkey to fight them,
and to also start promoting the fight, dog.
Turkey could have came out here with some bullshit ass fucking business deal because him and fucking Al Heyman don't get along. We don't know.
Have we ever heard a fighter complain about Turkey money, bro?
Did we hear? Because Turkey is very bad. I'm pretty sure if it was some fuck shit that David Benavidez did, why the fuck Turkey ain't come out and bring that shit to the light? Oh, he left because he didn't want to agree.
I got something for Clavo and Steel Mills. If you go, look,
because Turkey wouldn't hold that fucking secret from nobody. He would have been quick to say that. I offered David Benavidez, and David Benavidez turned it down because he wanted it in the United States. He would have said something.
But what I'm talking about was all the assumptions you're making. Well, you know, if Turkey,
how is that an assumption? That should make sense. Y'all say he left. I said we don't know why he left early. He could have left early because he came with a bullshit ass fucking deal. And he like, fuck it. I already know.
No, he took off. No. He took off. He took off because Al Heyman didn't want him negotiating without them being there. That's the thing. Nobody, Samson didn't even go. Al Heyman didn't go. So basically, David wasn't there to negotiate in the first place. That's fucking simple. And he fucking took off before anything could ever happen. So you don't think Turkey feels some kind of way that you're gonna take off before we negotiate anything? So yeah, I'm not gonna bid on anything.
I'm not saying negotiate. I'm not saying negotiate to sign a contract. I'm talking about
one second.
I'm talking about negotiate to his.
Actually, just one second. That's a very good point that Clavo made. Yeah, you left. You fucked up the situation, and now you made it to the point where Turkey's offended. But if Turkey's going to be the guy that's going to spearhead boxing, he got all the pockets, he's going to have to be the least sensitive person in boxing because we already seen him come back to the table with Canelo. We can't have him keep doing this shit. You got to come in here and make the fights we want to see. Exactly. I feel like this is likely a pump fake.
I agree with that.
Fight Sports has a question for Clavo and Steel Mills.
Yeah, it seems like, okay, we agree that, yeah, there's no innocent parties in this whole situation. But again, the problem, again, it seems like I'm defending Al Heyman here. I'm not. But the problem is Turkey has made it clear, I will not bid on this fight. And he also waved the finger at Bivol saying, hey, you better stick with me or else. And Eddie Hearn is now very typically saying, yep, we'll do whatever His Excellency wants, bow down to Turkey Al-Sheikh. So I just don't understand how people can, again, nobody is a bigger critic of Al Heyman than I am, but I just don't see how people can overlook the fact that in this particular situation, Al Heyman is not the one saying, I will not bid on the fight. The one saying I won't do that is the guy who's probably going to win the purse bid.
Can I answer that?
And
I want to hear, when did Turkey make the statement that he's offended that David Benavidez left early?
He never made that statement.
Bro.
So that's just an assumption. So that's just an assumption.
Bro, everything that comes out your mouth is an assumption. You're a walking assumption.
Actually, let him finish. Actually, let him finish. Knuckles, let him finish.
Hold on. You know,
hold on, fellas. Before we get to you, Gooch, I just wanted Clavo and Steel Mills to respond to Fight Sports Talking Point.
You want to get it, Stills?
Oh, you go ahead, Clive.
Okay, look, man, I see what you're saying. You just repeated what you said.
exactly.
That he's not gonna bid on the fight. But again, this was afterwards. Afterwards, you want to fucking come over here for no reason, sit there and just look pretty, not stay for the main event to fucking at least look at your next potential opponent, study the fucking person. As a fighter, I think that's what you should have done. But no, you took off. So, dude, it don't make sense to you be like, bro, why am I gonna bid on you? Yes, fuck you. I tried.
Well,
I brought you here to negotiate, bro. Turkey is the businessman with the generous wallet, and he was more than likely going to put you in the fucking fight. Here's the thing that y'all ignore, bro. Turkey takes away the require of marquee value. You don't need that because Turkey will take care of not needing pay-per-views. Guess what? Just come over here. You're gonna get a guarantee. You're gonna get the bag, and you're gonna get an opportunity.
It's a whole lot of feelings. Oh, you hurt my feelings because you
Steel
left
Mills,
early.
were you going to say anything? Because the problem, Clavo, I agree with what you said, but the thing is, Turkey hasn't said publicly. I mean, I don't think he's even said privately that the reason he's upset with Benavidez is because Benavidez left before the main event. He's not saying any of that, so I don't see how anybody can say, "Well, this is the reason why Turkey's justified."
Exactly, that's the
bro. All you got to do is think about it. Think about it. Hold on. The man flew you. The man gave you a 15-hour flight all the way to Saudi, and you barely even network. You don't even stand there to negotiate to make any kind of fucking deals, and you just take off.
I wouldn't give
that.
A fuck.
Doesn't tell you anything.
You got to fly 16 hours, not me. I'm home.
You
got to fly 16 hours if you going.
Actually, you being obtuse, dog. You being
exactly, bro.
Like a motherfucker, Brody. Like a motherfucker.
How is that hurting his business? Him leaving early. How is that hurting Turkey?
It shows that
it's hurting David's opportunity, ain't it?
How is that?
Don't you want David to go for greatness? Ain't it hurting his opportunity? You're gonna ignore that, right?
He's trying to go for greatness right now, but y'all making all these fucking.
No, now he's going for greatness because Turkey ain't trying to fucking fuck with him at all.
Give him the deal because he left early. He left early, so I wouldn't do business with him either.
Oh, David doesn't want to fight because I don't want to get in the way of the trilogy. The way my contract is set up.
You don't want to make that fight, but you want to give Canelo $100 million.
You can sit here and make all the excuses you want for your boy, dog. Your boy, you sound stupid as fuck. Your boy's got a track record of not wanting to do shit. A whole decade at 168.
When the Sheik gonna pay fucking Canelo $100 million to fight William fucking Skull? Do you fucking make sense?
Hold on, fellas.
This motherfucker's stupid in a bitch, bro. I'm sorry.
Hold on, fellas.
He's making me stubborn by the second, bro.
You guys make for like must see TV. This is why we couldn't put you guys in the same
dumb as fuck.
You stupid as fuck.
He's willing to pay $100 million for William Skull and them. But he mad. His feelings is hurt.
That would have been David. That would have been David that got that fucking kind of money. But guess what? You took off.
So you guys are kind of saying the same thing. You even though you're not. So Ashley's right. Paying Canelo $100 million for William Skull, there's no reason why we shouldn't be getting a David versus Bivol fight. And Clavo is on the other hand saying, David really only found his nuts after Turkey Al-Sheikh kind of was like, I'm not really interested in the fight. And it could be because of David's behavior. I'm a Las Vegas fighter. I'm willing to wait on the trilogy. And it seems like David keeps flip-flopping on what he wants, pissing off Turkey. That's what it sounds like. Fight Sports is saying the same thing I'm saying is Turkey got to be above these petty squabbles and make the fights we want to see, even if David doesn't fight it next or the one after. And even Ashley's right. We like the fact that David is at least saying now that he wants all the smoke, but it kind of looks like a pump fake because you were just saying the other day that, hey, I'm okay with waiting. So it's a big missed message all over the place.
Nuke, let me ask you this. Nuke, let me ask you this. Does David not have a trend of not fighting the fucking world champion in this division? Yes or no?
Yes, that is correct.
There you go. Thank you.
That is correct.
This has been fucking done. You can ignore that shit all you want, but that's just been happening. What you got to say about that, Ashley?
I got to answer,
What I got to say about that is like I just said. It don't be until you make fucking sense. He'll pay $100 million to William fucking Skull. That's not going to even price. Only reason why it's going to sell is because Canelo is going to get his fucking belt back. That's for one. That's one. That don't make no fucking sense at all. I'm gonna pay this man $100 million, but my feelings are so fucking hurt that this man left that he got to take 16 hours. I'm home. Motherfucker, you flew 16 hours and you got to fly 16 back. So if you want to waste your time to come up here just to turn right around, then by all means, that's not going to hurt my fucking feelings. I'm rich, motherfucker. I'm the one who's dropping $100 million. So how am I going to let that hurt me to stop up David Benavidez?
So don't none of this look
don't none
of this look funny side of you on David's
That don't
behalf.
make no fucking that don't make no sense.
Don't none of this look funny side of you, Brody?
Yeah, he don't see none of the funny shit. Exactly.
Hold on. Let's take a timeout real quick. Steel Mills asked a very good question. Does any of this look funny on David Benavidez' side?
Only way it will look funny. Yes. Only way it will look funny.
Hold on, Ashley. Ashley, can I respond first?
Hold on, I'm gonna answer this question. This is how it would look funny to me. If the sheet came out, and gave a reason, if the sheet came out and said why David Benavidez, if he'd be like, yo, I offer him, and he left early.
God, dude.
You're not answering the question, Ashley.
I can answer this.
Is you gonna listen? Is you gonna
If you're not gonna answer the question, don't say nothing, bro. Go ahead, fight for it.
This is how it would look funny to me. This is how it would look funny to me. If the man came out, if she came out,
hold on.
Man, listen, you gonna shut the fuck up and let me talk, or you gonna talk over?
Hold on, 1 second. One second, Ashley. 1 second. Let's still get this off.
Look to you, loved one. Does anything that this dude is doing look funny style?
I've been trying to explain the whole time, but y'all keep talking over.
It's a yes or no, bro.
It's a yes or no, bro.
Just because that's what the fuck you want to hear, Clavo. I'm talking to Steel Mill right now.
No.
Steel Mill, this is how it would look funny.
I'm asking the same
question. Can I answer this?
Listen, man.
Let me keep shit stack with you.
I'm gonna give you my answer. I'm gonna give you my answer. Take it or leave it.
This better be good, bro. For real.
If Turkey came out and said, yo, you know what? I offered David Benavidez such amount to fight here, and what's the name? And he turned it down, or he didn't want to fight because fucking Al Heyman wasn't here, then yeah, I would say that shit look funny. But I didn't hear no fucking, we don't know why he left early. So until I hear why he left early,
you don't know why he left.
You don't know. You tell me why he left early.
You don't know why.
I can answer. My answer is a lot quicker.
Since you know it all, why the fuck you not working in boxing magazine? Or why you not a promoter?
Listen, because I'm not a scribe. I'd rather be here kicking it with y'all. I'm not a scribe. Fuck all that working for them. I'm cool on all that. Listen, there's blame on both sides. There's blame on both sides. That's what I've been trying to tell you, fucking ass. But you keep going on these 10-minute tangents, talking over motherfuckers. I'm not completely disagreeing with you. I don't completely disagree with you. I honestly don't.
If you don't completely disagree, then why the fuck
are you
Can I answer Steel Mills? Can I answer Steel Mills? Can I?
1 second, Fight Sport. Let's still go, and then we'll let you go fight. Because he was on to something special.
My bad.
I done lost my train of thought. But the thing is, you are putting all the blame on Turkey Al-Sheikh and none on David. Like he's completely alleviated any wrongdoing in this whole situation. I don't get how you don't understand him flying halfway across the world to watch a fight and leaving before that fight even goes down. A whole nother 15 hours back to his hometown. I don't see how that shit don't look funny style to you, my dude. Is wow. I don't see how just you don't get that. A few weeks ago, he was content with fighting on the undercard, talking about who am I to stand in between the trilogy. I have no problem fighting Callum Smith on the undercard of that fight. Fast forward to now, now all of a sudden you trying to, you know what I'm saying, press the line on getting this getting this mandatory honored or whatever the case may be. It's funny style. I'm not completely disagreeing with you, but it does look funny style on his behalf. And even with me saying that, there's blame to go around on Turkey Al-Sheikh. I don't like how he be trying to Devo and curve motherfuckers and how he talk to people. You know, I don't like that shit. Like you trying to little boy. These just grown ass men who will punch a hole through your face. It's a certain manner you talk to when you talk to Spartans. You dig what I'm saying? Modern day gladiators. I don't like how he talks to motherfuckers like that. That shit is corny to me, bro. You's a little man, bro. I do that to you. You dig? I don't like that. So I'm not completely disagreeing with you. But what I'm saying is you can't put all the totality on Turkey Al-Sheikh and ignore how David Benavidez is moving in the now, especially when he has a history of moving like this with the angling, dog. You can't do that.
Yeah. Can I mention this is my rebuttal, and this is my rebuttal.
Can I answer? No, Fight Sports turn. Fight Sports turn.
We're gonna go to we're gonna go to Fight Sports, then the Gooch, and then we're gonna let Ashley rebuttal. Fight Sports.
Yep. Yeah, Steel Mills. Yeah, answer your question. Yes, for all the reasons you guys have mentioned. Him leaving before the main event, him flip-flopping, saying I won't stand in front of the trilogy. Now he is trying to stand in front of it. And also saying it has to be in America. All of that looks shady. But again, I'm not saying anybody. They're all guilty in my opinion. the problem with Turkey again is him saying publicly won't bid on the fight. But David is definitely guilty, and so is Silkowics, and so is Al Heyman. Absolutely.
There's another person who's at fault that hasn't been mentioned, and that's Suleiman.
Suleiman
for calling for
absolutely
for the mandatory out of turn and all that, and that's what I believe really set Turkey off. Like, again, I'm not defending Turkey because he's got to make that fucking fight, but Suleiman also is responsible for it.
Definitely. Samson's all of these dudes, man. Like, these dudes keep. I don't know what, bro. You keep talking that's Vegas this and Vegas that, fam. 11,000 in the arena, in a 20,000 seat arena, bro. That's wild. You ain't in a position to dictate them type of terms. Just the bag is bigger over there. Go get it if you like that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
like, I don't know.
There you go.
All right, it was on me. It was on me. It was on me for my rebuttal. We all agree that Turkey speaks his mind, right? Am I right or wrong?
You right.
He tells shit.
Yes.
He gonna tell some shit if you on some felonious shit. So I'm trying to figure out. Being that David is pushing this shit and putting the motherfucking monkey wrench in the situation, why the fuck Turkey haven't just come out and be like, you know what? This is what my offer was. This is why this motherfucker left fucking Saudi Arabia so goddamn early. He walked out. Or he could be like, you know what? I turned around 1 minute, he was sitting there. I turned around next, he was gone. He didn't say nothing. Turkey ain't come out and say nothing. Don't nobody know why this man left early.
And what if my
you don't know why that man left early.
Hold on.
No, like I said, man, you can keep Clavo. You can have your own. Like I said, opinions are asshole. Everybody has one.
Bro,
don't mean yours.
It's
don't
all
mean
good,
yours
bro.
is fact. Don't mean mine's is fact. It's just
yours probably got shit on it because you didn't wipe it right. But hold on.
Yeah, I know. I should have figured. I shouldn't even bought nothing up by asshole.
Yeah, well, I mean, you wanted to go there, bro. So I went there with you. So don't get mad at that. But what I'm gonna just say, I'm gonna just say this shit, bro. Look, it's really not hard.
Talk to you. You can take
really
that to somebody else.
Well, then get the fuck off the line.
Conversate. Just talk.
Simple as that.
I got nothing.
Okay.
Don't look for no response. Just talk.
I will shut up then, bro. I got you. Look, I'm gonna say this because it's simple. It's easy. I mean, after the Morrell fight, I don't care for fucking Turkey LSG. I don't care for I'm a Vegas fighter. So what? You go over there and you take off right before the main event. If you connect the dots, it's right there. He doesn't want it. He's never had one of it.
I remember there've been a lot of
people. Bro, I thought you didn't want to talk to me.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking in general. I'm not even talking to you. Did I say Clavo this? I'm just talking.
I was the one last speaking, dumbass.
Listen, because what you saying is just coming from your hate for David Benavidez. That's all.
Bro, I don't hate nobody, bro. I don't even hate the guy that fucking killed my brother, bro. So no, you can fucking take that shit out of it.
Yeah, you do.
Wow.
Yeah, you do. If you don't hate the motherfucker that killed your brother, then you a fucking stupid. You still in your scalp.
That motherfucker's dead, dog. Why am I gonna hate somebody that's dead, you idiot?
I still really hate because if it wasn't for you, my brother still be here. That's why, motherfucker.
You stupid.
Since you want to be technical.
One more thing.
All right, fellas. Hold on. I'm gonna let Clavo get his point off still, and then we're gonna go to Ashley for his final rebuttal on that. Come on, Clavo.
Fucking retard.
Bro, you need to get your brain checked. Go see a neurologist, bro. I'm starting to get worried, my nigga.
My brain is okay.
I'm starting to get worried, bro.
Your fucking brain.
Whatever drug's peddling in your area, bro. Hey, stop that shit, bro. But regardless, look, this ain't never been hate. This ain't never been hate for the Benavidez. Me mentioning what he said at a press conference, is that hate for y'all?
Let you tell it, man.
Steel Mills, is that hate?
Not at all.
I can't tell because
him leaving, bro. Why do you need a reason why he took off early?
Hold on, fellas. Hold on. I gotta take control of this. Hold on. I gotta take control of this.
Your reason is the reason why.
Hold on 1 second, Ashley. 1 second. What did he say specifically that was hate about
Thank
David?
you.
Did he say that it was hate that he left early? What was it that he said that was hate?
He's using his assumptions that David Benavidez left for some reason that he don't really want to fight. That's what he's putting out.
So hold on, Ashley.
I'm answering your question. So the point I'm saying is,
hold on 1 second. Okay, so the fact that he said he left early, and that indicates he don't want to fight. Well, when you leave before a main event and you fly 15 hours over there, that would indicate to any rational person that you don't want to fight if you leave before the fight even happens.
Exactly.
If you know the reason.
Exactly.
If you know the reason. We don't know what the reason could have been. He could have came with a
know the
bullshit
reason.
ass.
You don't
bro.
know.
You want there to be a reason.
Listen, man, I'm trying to tell.
You're looking for a reason.
He could have came up with I'm just throwing this out there. I'm not saying this is a reason. He could have came with a number he didn't like and be like, you know what? Nah, I'm not gonna fight for that. Or he could have told him, you know what? Hold up. He could have told David. Listen, man, let me answer the question. Don't cut me off and then have me come back. Let me finish. What I'm saying is we don't know if he offered him to step aside for the count, to step aside and give him some step aside money so they could have a trilogy and be like, you know what, fight Callum Smith. He could be like, nah, I don't want to do that. I want to go for the WBC.
If that was the case, he wouldn't have said that. If that was the case,
he made that statement before he went to Saudi, though. He made that statement before he went to Saudi. He didn't say that after Saudi.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. Fuck, he did when he made that.
Callum Smith.
Now you going to tell me?
Better be an undercard, dog. What did you talking about?
Listen, bro, you talking about you throwing out shit, bro. You ain't throwing out nothing valid.
He said he wasn't going to come in between the trilogy before he went to the fight.
Bro,
when the fight was still coming up. What is you talking about?
You ain't throwing out nothing valid, bro. The only thing you
David Benavidez went down there, then came back and said, you know what? I'm not gonna get in between the trilogy.
Bro,
he said that after the fight.
I'm gonna jump in. I guess this is for Steel Mills. I think we all pretty much agree here, aside from Knucklehead. I mean Knuckles. Sorry, that
you got it right. You got it right.
They're all guilty. Everybody's guilty. So we all agree we're holding everybody's feet to the fire. So,
correct.
I guess maybe the biggest problem is Turkey. Here's the thing: he could easily call his bluff because just very quick scenario. Turkey says, "Okay, I'll show Al Heyman. I'll show that. I'll put him out of business for good. I'll get one of his big names over here, and we'll put on the fight, and he can go fuck himself. I'll outbid him."
Because if the shoes was on the other fucking
shut
feet,
up.
Fuck you,
shut
fuck
up.
You, fuck you, bitch. If the shoes was on the other foot,
his feelings are hurt.
I haven't even finished. I haven't even finished.
Everybody be saying David Benavidez is ducking fucking Bivol. If the shoes was on the other fucking feet,
he has been, bro. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but that's what it seems like.
Bivol don't get no fucking backlash and all this shit.
Bro, hold on.
Bro, you're not throwing out anything valid, bro. The only thing you're throwing out is your ass, and you hope David catches it.
Y'all sound dumb as shit.
Hold on, we with you. Everybody got to have a little bit of blame. Let's see if Fight Sports give everybody the blame. Like,
he ain't giving everybody the blame. Everything is
he just said that.
He just said he was.
I'm really trying to say.
Shut up.
I'm not really trying to say.
Here's the thing. Easy scenario. Turkey, if he just says, okay, we go to purse bids and I'll outbid Al Heyman and I'll put him out of business because I'll bring Benavidez over and Al Heyman will get nothing. He could easily do that. And the thing is, he's not even saying, well, I'll bid on the fight. So that's the biggest problem here because again, you're talking about a guy who could easily call Al Heyman's bluff and he'll easily win the purse bid.
Thank you. So what that means Bivol is bending over, taking the turkey meat.
Bro, shut the fuck up and let him finish.
Knucklehead. I did finish, but the problem is you're putting all the blame on Turkey because you can't put any blame on Benavidez and Al Heyman.
Thank you.
You are.
That's it. That's it right there.
You are putting it on.
You're just a knucklehead. That's why I call you Ashley Knucklehead.
One more thing.
I just want to say this. I want to say this. Jesus says, I know why David left early because David was going to miss his flight. That's the most rational explanation, laughing out loud.
And you know what's funny? So basically, we just going to roll with Turkey because Turkey feelings was hurt. Hold on, no, because y'all saying, basically what y'all saying is he's not going to fuck with David. Basically, what y'all saying is he's not going to fuck with David because David left early, right?
No.
Listen, man, some don't agree all the way, some do. Some don't.
What the panel was saying is that everybody's putting a little bit of blame on everybody.
Nah, because I didn't hear Bivol. The only thing I'm hearing is Turkey. When only thing Bivol got to do is say, you know what? I'm gonna fuck with Matchroom and let Matchroom and PBC make this fucking fight.
He could say that.
He want to stay with Turkey so he can keep getting his. He want to stay with Turkey so he can keep getting his $10 million. Because I remember when fucking Canelo said, I'm not going to bow down and kiss the ring. Now everybody's bowing down, kissing the fucking ring.
Okay, that's a good point. Hold on. That's a good point. Ashley made a very good point. He said Bivol needs some blame. If Bivol can just say, "Hey, no, I'm gonna make the fight with the PBC and Al Heyman and Eddie Hearn, we can get this shit going." Still, Clavo, does Bivol get any blame on that end to you guys?
Man, Yeah, no, I mean the thing is this, Brody.
Here we go. Here
Bro,
we go.
shut the hell up, bro.
Actually, shut up. Actually, shut up. Let him
Nah,
finish.
knuckleheads don't shut up. Knuckleheads don't shut up.
Listen, man. Listen, man. We can't, bro. A fight with Better
Bro, what?
Bivol is a far better. Listen,
bro, shut the fuck up.
Fight with Better Bivol is a far better fight than David Benavidez. Better Bivol is the more accomplished fighter. He's the better fighter. He's the higher grade fighter. He's the most proven fighter.
How?
What do you mean how? You just
What numbers?
What do you mean how?
Listen, man, if the big crescendo only sold
Ashley,
40
man,
fucking thousand pay-per-views
Ashley,
over Saudi, how
Ashley,
the fuck is
shut
that
up
going to
and
make
let
more
him
money?
finish.
How is that going to sell more?
Wait,
For a
hold
kitty
on,
back to
hold
back
on.
fight?
40,000 in America. You keep talking about 40 fucking thousand in America, and you're dismissing what is sold globally.
All right,
David
what's the other
Benavidez
number?
did 70K in America.
What was the final numbers on a big crescendo?
Like this dude is some sort of household name, loved one.
What is
God damn,
that's supposed to have been the biggest card ever. What was the total numbers? Because you
Oh
just said don't
my
count this
Hold on, Ashley. One thing, just one rebuttal to that. David Benavidez doing 70,000 pay-per-view buys is not a star. So if you're
Listen,
talking
man,
about
that's
numbers,
more than 40, and it's not
you can say
worldwide.
Benavidez Bivol would do shit over here the same it would do over there.
Don't nobody know. They are not house. They don't even give you an entertaining fucking when you give them an interview. Those two right there would not sell in America. Those two.
What?
Come on, let's be real, people.
mind.
Let's be
He's talking
real.
about he didn't give an entertaining interview. Well, guess what? David
We
didn't give an
being real,
entertaining
you
interview.
not.
He took off. So yeah, there
Benavidez
you
had to
go.
make them a rail fight. He's the one who made them a rail fight. If it wasn't for the antics that David
Bro,
Benavidez put up, he probably wouldn't even made the numbers that he did make.
Ashley, so
If he
let me get
wouldn't
this
have pushed
straight.
Morrell,
So let me
if he
get this
wouldn't have
straight.
pushed Morrell and made
Everybody,
motherfuckers want to see the fight, it wouldn't have been
This
no
is
fight.
so
Ashley, so
pointless.
everybody's doing wrong except for David. That's basically all I'm hearing
I
from
don't
you.
see the wrong he did because the only
Well,
thing y'all saying is
That's a good question.
he left. Only thing y'all keep
That's a
saying is
good question.
he left too early.
Forget that. No. Forget that, Ashley. Look. Let's throw that out the window because that's not the only reason or any reason why this fight's not. It's bigger than that. What blame do you give David Benavidez in this whole scenario of this fight?
I don't give him no blame because, like I
There
said,
you go. That's it.
I'm telling y'all why,
That's
and I'm
it.
telling y'all why I don't give him blame because, like I said, and just like Nuke just said, Bivol don't have to keep rolling with Turkey. He can say, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and make this shit
I'll
with
debunk that. I'll
PBC and
debunk
David
that.
Hearn. Ain't nobody answer that
Who got
question
the
yet.
echo?
Why the fuck he won't do that? Why he keeps
debunk
saying
that.
with Turkey?
Ashley,
That might be me.
I will.
I'm gonna back out real quick.
Knucklehead. I will debunk that in a second. Yes, I would prefer Bivol was prepared to leave and fight somewhere else, but I wish all boxers could do that. However, you cannot blame Dmitry Bivol for one thing. He's fought Beterbiev twice in a row, so he's not scared of anyone. You cannot blame him for saying, "Well, I'll go somewhere. I'll go to the place where I've made the most money in my career." Because for many years, Bivol was one of those guys who couldn't get big paydays. Now he's getting paid very well, and he's taking on a feared puncher in Beterbiev back to back to back, probably a third time. So him staying with Turkey and Matchroom isn't. Yes, okay, it would be great if he would be prepared to leave and fight somewhere on a fight-by-fight basis, but you can't blame him for this. Like, so he's just doing what
you script in.
He's just going wherever the biggest payday is. Whereas Benavidez, again, I've been critical of Turkey here, but out of the two fighters, Benavidez is the one saying, well, it has to be here, it has to be here, it has to be here. And he's the challenger. So that's the problem. That's another problem. Again, I'm critical of Turkey, but Benavidez is the only fighter.
I didn't hear the Benavidez team say nothing about it had to be. They say they will prefer.
Have you been? Well, you need to check your ears. You need to get hearing aids. Benavidez clearly said, "Knucklehead, Jesus Christ, you need to get hearing aids." Benavidez clearly said the fight has to be in the US. And Samson Lakovic said with Sean, I forget his name, he's Mayweather's bum buddy or whatever. Yeah, he's Mayweather's paid propagandist. He said the fight has to be in the US. So that's another problem.
So he has to take some blame, Ashley.
So I'm asking
exactly
what's the problem? What's the problem? So basically, what you're saying is you don't blame him not leaving Turkey and going with Hearn and Matchroom to negotiate with the PBC to make that fight. That's what I'm asking you. It's a simple question.
I don't blame him because he's the champion and he's going where he gets paid the most.
So
Benavidez is the one
you prefer
with
him to get stripped then?
stipulation saying.
So if he don't make the fight and get stripped, you good with that? As long as he stay with Turkey and get that money, right?
No.
Okay.
No, because David could have gone with
got
Turkey.
a question. I got a question for Clavo and Steel Mills real quick. So this is my thing. This is my thing. Is it possible for Clavo and Steel Mills? Is it possible that David, because this, I like to give everybody blame. I've given a lot of blame to Turkey today. I've given it on my other video, but I also have to give something to David. He's flip-flopped on a lot of things. If David was all about trying to make this fight and he could do what Errol Spence did. Errol Spence said, no, Al Heyman, I know what you want me to do. Fuck that. I'm going to do what I want to do, Al, and you're going to accept it. And he can go to Samson and say the same shit. So those guys are back down. Then he'll go to Turkey and say, look, we go Turkey, whatever we need to do to get this shit right, let's get this shit right. And so if Turkey and David had the same attitude, we could get this shit done. But they don't. Do you guys agree that David has to go to these guys and put that on their ass too? Like, I need you guys to sit the fuck back and do everything we can to make this fight.
I agree. But I agree. But let me add this on here, Nuke, because there ain't no way that you can't say David also didn't fuck up or have fault, because not only did you have this one shot, but you had two. Whenever you were begging Turkey to get to pay for Canelo fight, what did Turkey say? You know what? I'm gonna delay the rematch with Better Beef and Bivol. The way my contract set up, that's one. And then a flight all the way to Saudi, 15-hour flight. That was another opportunity. So what the fuck more do we need?
Damn.
David's at fault. He's got fault in it. Everybody's got fault, including David. But Ashley don't want to see that.
So
Ashley wants to throw shit out there, bro.
Ain't nobody never answered the question why the man didn't take the step aside money.
Fulton did the same thing.
And they said Turkey, and in the reports it said Turkey offered a big
You
sum.
see what the fuck I'm saying?
I'm just asking the question.
Okay, Ashley.
I'm just asking the question.
Hold on, Ashley. Let me ask you this, Ashley. Was there any fault that David had in the Canelo fight not being made?
Yeah, I would say he got some fault in that.
Okay.
Okay.
Still, what's your rebuttal to all of this stuff about just everything, man?
Because when you're the inside, you control everything. Am I right or am I wrong?
Do I got
if I'm a B side, I have been without a belt for this long, ever since the pandemic. That was the last time that's when he lost his belt. So he said, you know what? I'm tired of fighting for interim belts. Like y'all said, what y'all call them belts? I forgot the name y'all gave it. The nickname y'all gave him? The fake belts and shit? Yeah, he said, you know what?
The baby belt.
Yeah, exactly. He said, I'm tired of fighting for those. So you know what? Your man got into the 8th to decide either he gonna fight me. If not, now he said now if he dropped the belt, I'll fight Callum Smith for the WBC belt. He's not saying he just want the belt straight off the fucking as soon as he dropped the shit. He's saying he's willing to fight for the belt. He said,
Actually, man,
wait a minute.
That's the only way he'll fight Callum Smith.
Wait a minute. It's kind of hard. No, it's kind of hard for me to believe that David's tired of fighting for baby belts when he fought Caleb Plant for one, and then he fucking fought Morrell for one. What the fuck are we doing here, dog?
Did he or did he not say that?
Hold on. I didn't hear you. What did you say?
I said he has said if Bivol drops the WBC belt, he said he didn't want to step aside money, but he's willing to fight Callum Smith for the WBC belt.
Yeah, he did say that. He did say that.
There you go. So how's he tired of fighting for baby
for the full WBC belt?
That's what he said.
If they strip Bivol, yeah.
Thank you. It's not like he just want. It's not like he just want a motherfucking handout. He said he's willing to fight Callum Smith for the WBC belt.
He does, bro.
Still, are you okay? Are you okay if they don't get this fight over the line? A Callum Smith, David Benavidez fight, likely in the United States. Are you okay with that fight?
Man, if the fight go down, just let this go down. But I personally don't think. I'm gonna be real, man. If he somehow strips Bivol, if he somehow gets Bivol stripped, I don't think he's gonna fight no Callum Smith, man. He's gonna fuck around and fight Jesse Hart.
He don't want to fight Callum Smith.
He's gonna fuck around and fight Jesse Hart.
He don't want to fight nobody. He just don't want to fight nobody, man. He don't want to fight.
Wait a minute.
But Jesse Hart, you right. That's all he wants to fight. Jesse Hart.
I think he's I wouldn't be mad at a Jesse Hart fight, man. Like me personally, because I don't think as highly of David Benavidez as you do, Brody. I think him and Jesse Hart would be
you don't have. That's why I said earlier. Opinion is just an opinion, bro.
But the thing is this when it comes to you, and I've noticed this is the thing when it comes to you and a lot of other Benavidez fans, man. The fact that you've completely ignored everything we're saying as far as placing black.
No,
hold on, loved one. It's enough blame to go around. But what you're doing is the minute we start to bring certain truths to light about David Benavidez, we get deemed as haters.
Yeah.
I don't recall.
Thank you.
No,
Thank
because
you.
that's y'all truth. That's y'all opinions. Because I don't agree with
It's
your
not an
opinion.
opinion, bro. This is what you do.
Listen, no, because
This is a
listen, I'm
fact.
gonna give you a perfect example.
What opinion
I'm gonna
did I
give you a
say?
perfect example. I'm gonna give you a perfect example is y'all truth. Y'all say, well, David Benavidez left, so it's obvious. It's obvious he left because whatever reason y'all said. We don't know. Though nobody was there, did nobody come out and say.
We
So
know.
because I
You
don't
don't
agree
know.
with that, oh, I'm wrong.
Wait. So
You're not giving David Benavidez any blame in the fall. No, because I don't know why he left. We don't know.
well, here's what I do know. No. Wait. Here's what
Now,
we do know,
like
though.
I said, if what's the name came out and be like, yo, he left on some bullshit, then yeah, I would give David Benavidez all the fucking blame in the world.
But here's what I do. Here's what we do know. Here's what we do know. Not only were you gonna get a shot at fucking undisputed, but you're also gonna get a big bag. So why would you take off? Why?
Why he still can't get that bag now?
Thank you.
Why he still can't get that
Let
bag
Hit
now?
Kid,
Because he
let
left?
Hit Kid come in. I'm gonna let Hit Kid. I'm gonna let Hit Kid come in. We were all explaining on the panel. I'm gonna catch you up. Is that we all said there's shared blame in this from David's side, from Turkey's side for the fight not happening.
I don't see how leaving a fight. I don't see how
Ashley
leaving
does
a
not
fucking
agree.
boxing
He only
fight.
thinks it's Turkey's
Shut
fault.
up, knucklehead. Knucklehead,
Can I
let him
take the
finish.
floor? Can I take the floor? I've just
Get
got
it.
it from James, so I'm on my mobile. Here's my issues with it. One, Turkey was a fucking idiot for his comments. We stated that, weeks ago, okay? Here's my issue with Team Benavidez. I like the energy they're using, trying to, put offers back and forth with them and Bivol's team. What I don't like, and it's in an interview, I believe done by Reese Interviews, if I'm correct, okay? And you have Samson, Benavidez' manager, saying, oh, no, it has to be PBC. It has to be, like Vegas and all that.
Yep.
Let me explain why I don't like it, okay? One, you're the B side. You're the challengers. You've not got the belts. You haven't really got any negotiating power in this fight. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
We can argue about this up to death, but that's just the fact. Two, more importantly, you're saying if it goes to purse bids and we'll win the bid, well, then still the majority of the split goes to Bivol. Money-wise, if it goes to purse bids, I believe it's a 70-25, 70-30 split. Makes no sense for Team David for the fight to go to purse bids. Can we all agree as a panel?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Here's a kicker, though. If it goes to the purse bids, and this is something I want to say, could you imagine if PBC don't win that purse bid? In case, let's say, Eddie Hearn wants to fuck him over and do like a big US supercard with Bivol, Benavidez as main event. And I suggested this idea to Nuke earlier on because it's a rumored fight being negotiated. Bam Rodriguez versus the WBA champ Martinez in a unification fight. And you put that on, let's say, in Los Angeles, which ain't Vegas. David says he's a Vegas fighter. You put that on in Los Angeles, because Bivol's fought in Los Angeles before. I believe he fought there, if I remember, on the undercard of the YouTubers. Okay. And also, what do you call it? David would still bring in the Latinos, but Bam Rodriguez would be, the big guy for the Mexican, the LAX, if I'm allowed to say that. So that would make a ton of business sense for the.
To be honest with you, I don't think Benavidez would care if it's in LA. I think he just wanted it in America.
I hope no. Actually, I hope he don't. I don't think that's the point. I don't think the location's the point. What would be my issue is if PBC and Samson say we're not crossing the street, which then I would want two reactions. Okay, two reactions. Either A, Benavidez, as Nuke said, pulls an Errol Spence, and says, "Fuck yourselves. This is too big of a pay bag for me." It's the same with what Nuke just said about Benavidez should be fighting in Saudi. It's too big of a pay. It's a career-changing, life-changing pay. And B, it doesn't matter what network I fight on. I might have to fight on different networks to be, a recognized global face of boxing. I'm sorry.
I agree with that too. I'm not saying he shouldn't go. I agree with that too. I would give Benavidez shit if he got the biggest payday.
Can I finish? Actually, can I finish my point though? So if I'm Benavidez, I'm telling Samson, Al Heyman, and all those fuckers from PBC, fuck off and go and take in this fight. No, if Benavidez agrees with them and does not do the fight, which I'm not saying he's going to do, I think this fight's still going to happen. I believe this fight's going to happen this year. Okay, but if Benavidez did not do that and sticks with PBC and walks away from undisputed, This one will be more definitive than the one he's already done with the 168.
And I agree with that. Now,
Then
if he offer him that type of money and he'd be like, you know what, I'm just gonna stay with Al Heyman and take these little $2-3 million he gonna give me, then yeah, I'm gonna give him fucking hell. But until, like I said, until the Sheik until somebody call his bluff, I'm not gonna know.
Actually, I'm talking about a situation.
Man.
I'm talking about a situation which may not involve the Sheik.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If the only way I can see that fight happening is if Matchroom and PBC come together.
Yeah, but let's say if Eddie Hearn, because I could see Eddie Hearn fucking him in the purse bid on this for a laugh. I really could.
The problem we have here, Ashley, is that, you know, I'm gonna ask Steel Mills this. Steel Mills, the problem that we have that these Benavidez guys don't recognize is that David Benavidez has already said that it's not about money for him, it's about legacy. And so it's more prestigious for you to fight Dimitri Bivol and get a win than it is for you to fight a Callum Smith for a belt. A win over Bivol elevates you more than even just a belt with Callum Smith. So it would behoove him to do everything in his power to fucking make that fight. Taking less money, willing to go wherever the fuck. So maybe he needs to do what Errol Spence did with Terrence Crawford and say, hey, you guys need to sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up.
And I agree with that. But until he
one second. So still, do you think that there's anything Benavidez needs to be vocal about to get this shit done?
Man, just stop with the loyalty to Al Heyman, this and that and the third. You can show, do I got to echo? Y'all hear me? I'm good?
No, you're good. You're good,
bro.
All right,
good.
All right, man. Just stop with the bullshit, man. We loyal to Al. Every time you get in the interview, you bringing up Al Heyman and this and that and the third, bro. PBC fighters have already fought on Riyadh cards, dog. I ain't trying to hear none of that shit. That's game.
So why is it so cool to fuck for Bivol to be fucking so loyal to fucking Turkey?
Because I can answer that. I can answer that. Ashy,
isn't this
hold on? I can answer that. Ashy, you asked me earlier why I didn't have a problem with
the money,
Bivol.
right? Because of the money.
Also, he is the champion and he's taken on all comers so far. He hasn't ducked anybody, so it's different. When you're the champion and if he was a protected champion, different story, but he's not. He's taking on all comers. So you can't criticize him when he's prepared to fight everybody. His record shows that. Whereas Benavidez, he's in the challenger's position. So it's different.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with that. And I'm not disagreeing with nobody saying what I'm saying. Only thing to know, this is what I'm saying. Right now, Turkey's saying he's not putting no kind of bid on that shit. Now,
and I criticized him for that. That's entire stream.
If Turkey came to David Benavidez and gave him any kind of offer and he turned it down, then yes, I'll be on here agreeing with y'all all fucking day long. Until somebody called his bluff. Yeah, how you gonna tell me what the fuck I'm gonna do?
Because you're doing it now, man.
Because we know Turkey ain't gonna come with no bull. It's gonna be more than what the fuck he'll get from Al Heyman. So yeah, that's why I'm gonna agree with y'all.
There you go.
That's the point I'm trying to make. So if he called his bluff and be like, you know what, I offer him $10 million, he didn't want to take it. Then yeah, I'm gonna be like, yo, you fucking dumb.
Bro, listen to what you just said. You said that you're gonna get more money with the PBC. So why didn't you stay out there Saudi when you flew out there?
More money. I said he would get more money with the Sheik. If the Sheik offered, I said he would get more money than what the fuck Al Heyman
Exactly. So why not stay out there instead of fucking leaving before the main event?
He still don't get it, bro.
Listen, man, what you mean? Y'all still talking about the main event. In your own state, man. Y'all still talking about him leaving. Y'all still talking about him leaving. I'm talking about right now when the fight could be made. That's what I'm talking about.
Go to Hit K real quick. Hit K got a rebuttal.
Something which I think you'll find very interesting is usually, we have these more presses coming up, for I believe the 2 cards upcoming in April now. The one at Tottenham and then the one at MSG. Don't be surprised if you hear a news story about Turkey's involvement with Bivol and Benavidez. Because, listen, I pan Turkey over it. You've all heard me, on these streams multiple times, pan Turkey for his attitude to the fight. Don't be surprised, though, if when Turkey's doing one of these short interviews, it actually comes, we have to hear it, and I agree with Ashley on it, we have to hear it from the horse's mouth in a sense. But don't be surprised if Turkey then comes out and, says, this is the reason why I weren't too appropriate on that fight. And if it has something to do with David Benavidez, then we'll be on here. And Ashley, I totally
I would come on here and be like, y'all was right. I will come on here and say David shouldn't have fucking left. That look like some whole bitch shit. Yes, I will come on here and say that. That's
Yeah,
why. That's what
that's the
I've
point
been
I'm
saying
trying
the
to
whole
say.
time.
I
said
think
if Turkey would come on and say
more
that.
information about Turkey's dissatisfaction on this, which I think has been a prick, to come out. That's all I'm saying.
And I agree with you, Hit. If Turkey was to come out and be like, you know what, David Benavidez left that fight because I came with an offer that he did not want to take, and you know what, I would come on here and be like, you know what, that was some whole shit. You did a whole ass move, and you did some whole shit.
If that was the
Instead of
case,
me
you shouldn't
coming
even
on
have
here
got on
trying
the
to
plane and
defend
went
that.
out there in the first place, Brody. He shouldn't even. If that was the case, bro,
Like I said,
ain't no off.
only listen, man. Only way I would say that's some whole shit. Like I said, if it come out that he made him an offer, then yeah, I don't know why he left. I'm just saying I don't know why. I don't know why. Don't nobody know why.
You know why? You just don't want to acknowledge
No,
it.
because I feel being that
All right,
Turkey,
Hitman.
I feel
Nick,
that
I'll be on the stream longer next time. Have a good night, guys.
All right, Hitman. Salute.
Turkey don't hold his lips for nobody, and I feel if it was some whole shit, Turkey would have been exposed that shit by now. That's my point about the situation. I don't see why Turkey wouldn't have said something. Being that the WBC is giving him all his fucking hell, I would be like, you know what? I offered the man something, and he turned it the fuck down and left.
He's my dude. Like, what exactly are what? Like, I'm trying to put it in context, like the question I want to ask you, because I just think this shit is so dumb, bro. Like, how is you not comprehending the fact that this dude flew 15 hours across the fucking planet to watch a fight that he didn't even watch?
Because, like I said, he didn't just go he went for negotiations and to watch the fight.
How do you
It
know
could have
that?
been something said in negotiations that wasn't like with his team that he just said, you know what, we out of there.
I don't even think they even got to negotiate. Man, let's just get you right.
Listen, man. So you saying David Benavidez got there right when the fight was going on, or did he get there before the fight started? Because if you going in to negotiate, I don't see you staying there after the fucking fight and all that.
Bro, wait a minute. Didn't he leave? Didn't he leave the night before that event?
Yes.
The night, no, it was because you remember the reporter said I seen him 1 minute, then I turned around, he was gone. No, he was at the fight.
Negotiations, dog. When Canelo, who was at that Canelo beat?
He was at the fight. He just left the fight early. He was at the fight.
Who was at that Canelo fought that after the fight, David Benavidez was in the crowd and Canelo was calling him to the middle of the ring?
Jaime
Munguia. What the fuck? They wasn't even like that. By that time, everybody was in the mindset that Canelo had completely got his mind off of that fight. So you can go to that fight and still be there for the optics, but you can't fly 15 hours across the world and stay for the fight that you came to fucking allegedly watch.
So he's saying that he can stay there for that main event, but not for the one that's going to be this potential opponent, right?
Because like I said, we don't know.
Exactly what I'm saying.
We don't know. Like I said, I or nobody on this panel know when he got there if they were doing negotiations. We don't know. We don't know if the Sheik told him, you know what, stay till after the fight. Can I finish talking? Because I'll let y'all talk. We don't know if the Sheik told David, you know what, come down here, watch the fight. Then after the fight, we'll make negotiations. We don't know what was said. So like I said, can y'all tell me? Can y'all tell me what time David got off the plane and got there? When he got there, was the fight going on, or was it before the fight?
I mean, I don't think that matters. I think what matters is that he took off.
Because somebody just said, I don't even think he was there. I think he left the day before.
A day was gonna call him to the main stage, but he had a plane to catch. Doesn't that speak to you?
Listen, he was gonna call him to the stage to do what? Because he wasn't gonna fight him next. He still was gonna have a trilogy. So him coming to the ring was gonna do what?
It's gonna solidify his position. Yo, I want next. I'm the fucking double mandatory. I need to get next. Yes, I'm gonna be the one that's coming up next for one of these guys. That's what you're gonna do. But he didn't even do that. But you're cool with it, right? You're cool with that.
That fucking fight came on at what time in the morning?
Oh my Lord!
What the fuck does that matter,
listen,
bro?
Man, y'all talking about global.
You're a fighter and a businessman. You're supposed to stay there. I don't even think Turkey was even able to offer him anything.
Don't nobody in boxing, no other countries takes boxing serious more than the Brits and fucking US, man.
Okay,
no, not the US. No, you full of shit.
That ain't true at all.
I said the Brits in the US.
Actually, hold on.
Pointless.
So I don't believe that he had any significant. I don't believe he had any significant negotiations with Turkey when he came to fly out because he didn't have enough time. When you look at Turkey, he was ringside for most of the fights. He was preoccupied with the fights. He was also preoccupied with the media. Even when Canelo did that picture thing when Turkey invited him over, they did not get to negotiate that day. So David was coming for, hey, I want this fight. I want to get in next. Turkey even said before this event happened, I want David Benavidez versus the winner. David chose to leave early.
Boom.
So
And so
basically,
these
him
are
leaving
Turkey's.
early is
Turkey
so
was.
him
Hold
leaving
on, hold
early
on.
is
Just
what
hear me
stopped
out.
the
1
fight.
second, Ashley. 1 second. One second. Turkey was receptive to the fight prior to David Benavidez leaving early. So something happened after that event that Turkey was like, "Oh, he on some bullshit."
But we
So
don't know what
And you know
happened.
what?
so basically,
And
what
We don't
y'all
know what
saying is
happened.
so basically
hold
what y'all
on.
saying is
Actually, you've been talking a while. You've been
early.
talking a while.
Basically,
Can
what
I?
y'all saying is him
Bro, I
leaving
want to hear
early.
fight sport, bro, for real. Somebody that makes
He
sense,
could go,
please.
but I'm just gonna say this one last thing. I'm gonna say this
thanks,
one last
Clivo.
thing, and I'm gonna shut up for the rest of the show. So basically, what y'all saying is him leaving early is why Turkey don't want to do business with him, right?
I don't know why.
No.
Hold on. We don't know. And respond to what IBFP said, and Clivo, you know, we talked about this before. I said from the very start that is very suspicious, but we just don't know yet. And the only way we do know is to see what comes up in negotiations. So yeah, that was very suspicious from Benavidez, but I don't know. We'll wait and see. I just got to say this because I got to head off soon. I want to see this fight get made just because Steel Mills. I watched the first time you and I talked on the show about this fight, and as soon as I said I'm picking Benavidez to win, you looked like you had seen a ghost, my brother. So I gotta play that. Sorry, IBP. I gotta snake that little bit of the
Do what
that
you gotta
live
do,
and
man.
just because Steel Mills, it was hilarious.
Man,
So
I kind of
want
want
to
to
see
watch
this
that
fight.
edit.
Seriously, Steel Mills, you look like you had seen a ghost. You were like,
Man.
what's wrong with this motherfucker? So,
Yo, yeah, bro, yeah, yeah. You the homie, you the homie, bro.
Steel Mills, my opinion on who wins the fight hasn't changed, but I want to see the fight get made just so I can see, just so you and I can collab and I can see your reaction.
And look,
because it was the funniest thing ever.
And we're gonna do the final thoughts for everybody as well. Since Fight Sports got his in, we're gonna go to the Gooch, Ashley, Steel, and Clavo. Gooch, what's your last thing you'd like to add to all of this, man?
Well, first, I want to kill that narrative that there's never been a back-to-back trilogy. There has.
Thank you.
Vasquez, Marquez. Second, no.
They fought 3 fights straight.
You said you weren't going to talk. Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Oh,
you said you weren't going to talk anymore. So, second, nobody on this panel is letting Turkey off the hook or anybody else. They're all responsible. Turkey's responsible. David's responsible. Bivol too, but I don't blame him. And then again, Mauricio Suleiman, he played a part in this shit.
He did.
You know, I think a lot of it has to, you know, he kind of challenged Turkey, and you know, Turkey's a rich and powerful man. He's not going to take that sitting down. And David leaving before they could talk. You know, everybody's at fault. All I care about is I want to see the goddamn fight. That's all I care about.
I love it.
Good. Ashley, what you want to give us your final thoughts on this?
Yeah, my final thoughts is if Turkey wasn't in this motherfucking league right now, do this fight, do that third trilogy really happen?
Shit.
That's all I'm asking. And my final leave out is tick, goddamn Bivol. You got April 8th, goddamn it. April 8th is coming. Somebody gonna get stripped, or Mauricio Suleiman gonna be appeared alive because he didn't strip him. One of the fucking two is gonna happen on the 8th. So until then, that's what I'm waiting on.
Ashley, and can I get your prediction one more time for the Bivol Benavidez if it does happen next? How do you see that?
I already told you, David Benavidez, UD, unanimous decision.
Okay. It still needs a minute.
Hey, Steel,
Steel Mills is down over there, fam.
Before Steel gets his response, Steel Mills, somebody else who thinks Benavidez is going to win, and you and I listen. If this fight gets made, you and I have got to debate it. We've got to debate it because. Yeah, we've got to debate it. Your show, my show, IBFP show, some show. We got to debate this, and we could turn this into a Fight Sport Talk versus Steel Mills boxing. You know, this means war because.
Oh man, we can do that. I'll make the thumbnails and shit, and then we'll do the Ashley versus Clyde.
We gotta try and get some attention off of this because I legit think. Here's the thing: I legit think Benavidez is going to win, but your reaction is just so epic. We got to debate this, man, and we could twist this into a whole fake beef. Steel Mills boxing versus Fight Sport Talk. This means war, sort of thing.
I'm with whatever.
Go ahead, man.
I'm with whatever. I'm with whatever, man. I love it. I love it, man.
Real quick, if Bivol wins, will Fight Sports change his name to 0 for 8?
Oh my God!
Oh my God! All right. I just want to make this clear. I want to make this. IBFE, before you close this live, I want to make this clear. The Gooch admitted on my channel, I called him out for his lies, and he admitted he was making it up. So this is a lie. This is a lie. You know it's a lie.
Because it's just funny, man. That's all.
He's just trolling, man. It's just a joke.
I know.
All right.
I'm just going to ask, Gooch, what are you going to do? Sorry, you go.
No worries. I was going to go to Still. Right before I go to Still, I just want to read Mr. Miyagi's comment. He said, Ashy Knuckles out here thinking that every culture is just like America. Turkey could value words spoken a little like a written document. Turkey could have seen David leaving early as a huge disrespect. But yeah, the floor is yours, Still.
None, man. Man, I'm just like this, Brody. There's enough blame to go around on all of them. David, Turkey. I'm not so much about to blame Bivol because fighting Benavidez again is a far better fight than him fighting David Benavidez. Just because it's a fresher face, that doesn't mean it's a better and more competitive bout. Benavidez is still the far better fight for Dimitri Bivol as far as pushing him though. So my thing is this, man. Stop with the I'm a Vegas fighter shit. Go where the Cho is at. Leave your comfort zone. Stop the angling, and maybe you're not angling, but due to your history, it does look like you angling. I don't know. There's enough blame to go around. Just because you bring certain shit to light about David Benavidez, like we all do, Clavo especially, that doesn't make him a hater. The truth ain't hate, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's a fact. The dude has been angling for years, man. I mean, it's childish, man. It's tiresome. It's annoying. Fight Callum Smith. That you was cool with fighting him on the undercard. Don't be so pressed to all of a sudden shoot for the title match now, my dude. When that wasn't on your itinerary after the Benavidez and Bivol rematch, you dig? Just stick to the script. You're gonna get your turn. You're gonna get your turn. But right now it does look funny style because you're going back on your word, and you look funny, and it's just some sucker shit, man. Stop moving like a sucker.
Thanks.
Not Clavo, but Ashy. Stop acting like this dude is absolved of any wrongdoing because homie is not all the way in the wrong, but there's definitely blame that be placed at his feet, just like it's blame that can be placed at everybody else's feet. It is what it is, man. I ain't got nothing else to say about it, man.
My brother Clavo, man.
Yeah,
I know Clavo got some energy.
I mean, look, Still Mills pretty much hit it out the park with that shit. He touched down there, alley-ooped it. He did all that shit right there. But regardless, man, bro, we got to see it for what it is. If something looks funny, it looks funny. You go 15 hours all the way out there, no promoter, no manager stamps to look away. So you weren't going there to negotiate. That was not in your plans. That shouldn't be hard to see, man. But all we are, man, we're just fucking boxing fans and we're paying customers. Well, I know about me, I don't know about y'all. Maybe I don't know. But regardless, we want to see this fight. We know that there's a lot of people that fall here. Everybody's gonna get the blame. Maurice Suleiman especially. Fucking telling all your WBC champion belt holders to fucking give out your fucking your allegiance to fucking WBC. Like that's some dumb shit, bro. Like, bro, it's like the fighters ain't even realizing, bro. Y'all paying the WBC. WBC ain't paying y'all. So yeah, man, Mauricio Suleiman, he's full of shit. I think he just wants a lot of spotlight right now. It's pretty much because I don't see no other fucking sanctioning body president out there like he is. But regardless, man, all we want this fight. You can take this, what I'm saying, as David Benavidez. Hey, you can take that all you want. But look, bro, all I'm saying is Turkey has been trying to make the good fights. I can't give him that. I mean, we can't blame him for what's happening now. When we would never had Benavidez and Bivol. We would have probably never had Usyk and fucking Tyson Fury. We would have never had these fights if it weren't for him. So there is a good thing about him, but right now I can see there's negative going on with some of the shit that he's doing. So, bro, regardless, the closing statement is, man, let's fucking keep it boxing. You know, let's keep debating these fools that they think they know what they're talking about when they really don't, and they just fanboying for these other fucking fighters, bro. Let's get our emotions out of this, because all I'm gonna do is laugh at y'all, man. That's all I'm gonna do. So shout out to everybody, Fight Sports, Steel Mills, my man El Nuke, the landlord. Shout out to
sir.
Lil Sluts, bro.
And Ashley Knuckles just rage quit But
as
he
usual.
just
Doesn't he do
jumps
that
out of here
every
for
time?
some reason. But I just want to
Doesn't he
say
do that all
one
the
thing.
time?
Yeah, I want to say one thing before we get out of here, and it's not even about David, Canelo, Bivol, none of these guys. It's about Tank Davis. It'll take 10 seconds. There was a footage online where it shows Tank was trying to bite Lamont Roach's ear. I don't know if you guys seen that.
Yeah, we seen that.
Yeah. Clavo's seen it.
I'm going to be breaking
And
it down.
so when I saw that clip, I immediately thought, Tank Davis wears the purse. He paints his fingernails. Now he's biting the guy's ear. I said, that is not the first time he's put his mouth on a man, if you know what I mean. Salute to everybody. We're out of here. Salute, fellas.
Later, guys. Peace out.
Peace out, man.